if you believe the reports. Mayor Kent Gwynn joins us at the bottom of the hour. We'll catch up with him about a few things regarding the city. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about Mac Dunwoody, whose services will be held on Friday, the former superintendent of instruction here in Marion County, who passed away last week. Big football hour. Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun. We're going to be chatting with Robbie about what's going on in Gainesville, key players especially like Ronald Powell, what's going on in the running back situation with Matt Jones. And then we'll also have Ed Krzeminski, who is the co-author of a very interesting book, which I've been reading about halfway through, called Rising Tide, Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Quarter. It's got a lot of different stuff in it, a lot of Southern lore, which I found quite interesting. And if you like Bear Bryant and Joe Namath, you'll love reading this book. And there's a lot of period stuff in there about what was going on in the South. So anyway, we'll talk to Ed Krzeminski, who I believe went to school with Joe Namath and certainly has worked on several documentaries. So we'll get that information to you here coming up soon. Don't forget, tomorrow we got Brad Rogers from the Star Banner, and Monday we'll have Urban Meyer, so stay tuned for all that. Meanwhile, Tom, you got some headlines for us?
Well, actually, the first thing I need to tell you is there's a significant weather advisory has been issued for Marion County for strong winds and excessive lightning. It's until 3:30. At 2:13, the National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated strong thunderstorms centered 2 miles northeast of Wearsdale, moving northwest at 15 miles per hour. The strong thunderstorms will also affect areas around Wearsdale, Moss Bluff, Ocklawaha, Lake Weir, Summerfield, Lynn, Silver Spring Shores, Bellevue, Santos, Burbank, and Ocala through 3:30. Excessive cloud-to-ground lightning, which we just saw right outside the studio here.
And heard the rumble.
And gusty winds up to 55 miles an hour can be expected. Heavy rainfall will produce ponding on the water roadways and minor flooding in low-lying areas. But the real danger is excessive cloud-to-ground lightning. And we're going to be in this kind of situation until about 3:30, according to the National Weather Service. So if you don't have to venture outside, don't. Excessive sky-to-ground lightning. So keep yourself safe out there.
All right, we'll keep you updated on the weather. If anything else goes on there, we'll try to let you know what's happening out there as you're driving around.
Now I got two stories on in Ocala I'm following.
All right.
Buddy, this is a good sign. You always talk about that you like indicators that shows the economy is rebounding. Sales of existing homes, 40% higher last month than they were the previous July a year ago. 40% jump in home sales over this time last year. That's big news for Marion County.
Yeah, that is. I want to know what they mean by 40%. I'm assuming that means 40% in dollars.
No,
or
518 existing home sales were done this month.
So it's numbers
40%,
of sales.
right?
Okay.
40% higher.
And these
than
numbers
last
tend to skew because what you get are they're delayed. You know, what's happening now will be reflected for 2 months. And it never seems to sync up when you see, well, gosh, things are going well. And then you see the national figures that have dropped down. It's hard to figure out exactly where we are, you know? But anyway, it's certainly good news, better than what we used to have. And we're glad to hear that because the real estate market is so key to what we have to do here.
And also, the United Way of Marion County accepted President Maureen Quinlan's resignation today and named Tony James as the agency's interim president of the United Way of Marion County.
That's a good move. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, that's the mother of our own Tom James. So we'll chat. I had to send Tony a little note today of congratulations. And at some point, we'll get her on and get a take. She's going to be that'll give it to her permanently, in my opinion.
And my national story, I know you were going to talk about the life imitating art. So my story is, I told you yesterday about a school shooting in Decatur, Georgia, where Michael Brandon Hill had a AK-47 in an elementary school. It's not sure whether he stole the gun or borrowed it, but this is for sure. He had nearly 500 rounds of ammunition on him when he was taken into custody at the elementary school after shooting the gun in the elementary school.
I don't think he was going dove hunting.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not deer season in Atlanta.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Later on the show, talked about a neighbor in need. You know, we have a lot of people still hurting out there. And the cycle of business has been so difficult for so many people, especially small businesses who, let's face it, they go week to week and month to month trying to keep the doors open. And, I know we can't save the world, but I know one particular small business is really having a tough time. I'm going to mention about this. I asked myself the question, do we really care about each other that much? Do we really care? I know we can't go out and throw dollar bills at people, but it seems like it's our job here in the Voice of Ocala to point things out when there's a business that might be flagging that we could very simply help just by showing up and give them some of our business. Just if you have need for the services, try them out. And I'm going to tell you about who that person is and what that is. And I know firsthand about this business because I use it. I'll give you that information. Also, I heard a very interesting interview today on NPR. Roger Kaiser, who was formerly went to the school in Marietta, the boys' school, and was abused there along with many other boys. And he has a book coming out. But the big news is they're going to dig the graves up, unmarked graves up at the industrial school for boys in Marietta, where so many horrible things went on. And there are 96 of them. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment as well. So that's something that's going to be grisly, but at the same time, something that certainly needs to be done. And now, what's Mark Zuckerberg up to now? I don't know. I can't make up my mind if he's going to try to save the world, if he's the evil empire, but we'll find out. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more coming your way right here in the Voice of the College. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney, fighting for accident victims' justice since 1976.
Every once in a while, you come across a funeral procession and you see police cars involved. What is the situation with that? Is there like a law, if you know you're going to have a large procession, that you have to have traffic control through the police departments, and is there a fee that is charged, or just what is the policy on that?
We have a volunteer funeral service that we provide. So basically we do most of them, if not all of them, just so that we keep everybody safe through the intersections.
That was a reprise of Ask the Cops, proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney, fighting for accident victims' justice since 1976, and can be heard the second and fourth Friday of every month on the Voice of Ocala.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
WOCA, putting the local back into radio.
Ooh, it's cold in here. Ooh, it's hot in here.
It's just right in this house.
Looks like 1 out of 3 know about climate control mechanical services in Ocala. The first didn't call 291-0185. The second didn't know to call 291-0185. The third called 291-0185. So the moral of the story? To know is one thing, but to know and take action is another. Climate control mechanical services. Just right.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The less we say at work, the more we enable others to define our role at the company. That could kill your chances of ever getting a promotion or raise. Even if you never touch a salt shaker, the majority of the sodium in our diet comes from packaged and processed foods. The worst culprit? Bread and rolls. Music engages one of the few parts of the brain that stays active once dementia sets in. And familiar music can help people with dementia feel more at home.
On the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
This is Tom Schmitz live in WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by Gateway Bank. Realtors reported 518 sales of existing homes, 40% more than recorded during the same month last year, according to a story on ocala.com. The median sale price was $107,500, which was 15.7% higher than July 2012. Of those 518 sales, 246 were cash sales. That's 31% more than last July. This news break was brought to you by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy there every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
Good tunes. All right, on a Monday, it feels like a rainy day. It's not Monday. Rainy day, rainy Wednesday day. It feels like Monday.
I was about to say, do not take the week backwards on me,
exactly,
please.
Because JJ always plays rainy days and Mondays together. He plays that on Monday. He says, today it's rainy, but it's not Monday. Thank goodness it's hump day instead. And today, later on, we got a special guest who wrote a book called Rising Tide. Bear Bryant, Joe Namathan, Dixie's last quarter of college football story you won't want to miss. Also, Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun, will join us and talk about that. Hey, let's talk for a second we talk about how much we care all the time here on the program, but we reach out for the big things and we help people in need in this community, which is great because they've got a heart. But,
you and I talk about that. JJ doesn't care.
No, JJ cares. JJ's first story. Remember JJ's first story?
Yeah, it was
so I didn't have to do anything.
It was I can see Carla Grimsley. I know she runs. She runs.
Tell JJ.
Interfaith.
I hope you guys can come up with
it. The high five.
That was rough.
Okay. The high five.
That was his first story.
That was his first story.
Yeah. So he does have. At least he used to have a heart. I don't know about now. He's got.
Well, he
Y'all
does.
took it out of me.
He does now, but it's only for Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog.
All right. So here's the deal. I got to think about this today, and there's these big things that come up, and we're great at that. We have a lot of great organizations. I mean, we have I have a heart for the March of Dimes and the Johnson family. I interviewed 2 weeks ago for a magazine piece. Ed and Lois have done so many great things in this community. We got Tony James possibly taking over the United Way. We have Interfaith. Lots of people who need money.
Mine's the Humane Society.
Yeah.
I'm big with the Humane Society.
And the Humane Society, of course, is great too. Then there are many other things like that. But it's the little things that get kind of unnoticed because they're not, in the headlines, or there's nobody out there beating a drum. There's no advocate for these people. So a little story came across to my mind today. My wife stumbled upon it. It's not a big deal to us. It's a huge deal to her. And we have a groomer that we've been using for 5 years, Rennie's Barber, whatever. And, the point is that, okay, you say, well, so what? Well, so what is this particular woman is very good with animals. She's very good at what she does. She charges a reasonable price. She's very loyal about, taking her customers. As I said, she's great with dogs and what have you. So, today, my wife goes over to take Rennie over, and she comes back. She said, "I'm so sad." I said, "Why?" She said, "I think our place is going to go out of business." I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, she said I talked to Tammy, Sammy Johnson is the owner, and Canine Cuttery Pet Grooming. And she said she just can't make it. She said so many things. You don't think about this. She said in the last 3 years ago, her business was booming, but because of the death of the animals, because of people who moved out of town. One guy had 5 dogs, moved to South Florida, because she didn't have new dogs coming in. Her business is really off. And now she's in danger not losing her business, but maybe lose her home. And so, wow, I'm not in a position to write her a check and say, here, but I must say this. If you need an animal groomed, if you need a dog groomed, help out a neighbor, Tammy Johnson at Canine Cuttery Pet Grooming. And I want you to take that down, Tom, so we don't.
No. I have 2 dogs that I need to actually get their nails clipped and groomed right now as I speak.
Okay, well, then you need to go see Tammy. I'm going to give you the telephone number at 352-351-2336. Again, 352-351-2336. She does an excellent job. I highly recommend her, even if it wasn't an emergency situation. But she may lose her entire business, not because she did anything wrong. It's the changing economy. We always talk about new jobs, new business. There's certain small businesses here who are struggling, trying to stay in business, and this is an example of this kind of thing. So I'm going to say it again. I'm going to remind you the next couple of days. Again, if you need a dog groom, I implore you, I beg you even, please call Tammy, 352-351-2336. I can promise you, if something goes wrong, I'll pay for it. If you don't like her or what she does, I'll write a check for
Okay, so I'm going to like her, but I'm going to lie to Buddy and get him to pay the bill.
Yeah, well, you, of course, of all people, I wouldn't give it to. But
well, I know, exactly. JJ Duke probably needs to get groomed.
No, he's good.
Yeah,
I keep my dog fresh.
But with certain animals, they have to be cut because they have longer hair and it gets hot, whatever. And it didn't making them look good. It's just simply humane. You have to groom them.
Rennie would burn up.
Oh,
if
absolutely,
you didn't groom Rennie.
Absolutely. And they tend to get things in them and whatever. Anyway, again, neighbor in need, Canine Cuttery Pet Grooming, Tammy Johnson. She does a great job with her dogs, excellent rates. Call her at 352-351-2336. Let's see if we can get her some business and keep her in business. So. Appreciate you taking me the time to do that. I don't like to do that too often, but this is one I felt like I needed to do. You guys see the blue moon last night?
Yes, I did.
How'd it look to you? Blue.
Huge.
Blue, yeah. Yeah, it's not going to see it again for till 2015 or something. So
whatever. I'm not one of those guys that gets excited about the different types of moons and how often they come. They all kind of look the same to me.
But don't you know how that affects your life?
No. I guess it affects tides.
I saw you standing alone.
Have you ever heard of Sha Na Na?
Yeah, come on, man.
What's that song called?
Blue Moon.
Okay.
And actually,
great beverage, my favorite alcohol.
When I was in high school, yes, I know. We bought you a few.
JJ goes right back to
whatever it is. It's always about the alcohol.
With me, it's food, and with JJ, it's alcohol.
We're talking about a beautiful moon last night, and JJ relates to beer. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
It's called a blue moon.
Well, yeah, the beer's called Blue Moon.
Yeah. I get that. JJ, who bought you?
See, and all I'm thinking about while you're saying that, all I'm thinking about is moons over my hammy, the meal you can get at Denny's.
Oh boy! Now, see, you relate to food, so there you go. What a crew I got here. See, this is kind of upbeat. Is that Bobby Darin?
It says Frank, but I know it's not Frank.
It might be.
Without a dream in my
Early Frank?
Yeah,
it might be early Frank.
That's Frank.
Yeah. Because Frank Sinatra. See, you didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, that's Frankie.
So when I was in high school, Carol Cole sang that song so beautifully. Blue Moon. Anyway, it was a blue moon last
Sha Na
night.
Na sung it in the movie Grease.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And that's the scene where they, we have you on tape. We want, the FBI has ways of knowing who you are.
Yeah. So there you have it. I mean, you have, the Blue Moon story, and it is significant because there are things that happen, JJ, and you need to research your Blue Moon a little bit so you can be up to speed, all right? Good things can happen to you there. You never know. And Blue Moon, it was last one was 2015. It's really not blue.
It makes the sky look blue.
Yeah, it refers to a rare second full moon in a month.
That's all
every 3 years this happens. So just coaching you up on the blue moon, JJ, because you know what's going to matter? One day you're going to have your special lady out there in 2015, and in the sky is going to be this beautiful full moon. You'll say, Honey, that's a blue moon.
I did that last night.
JJ, how did you know that?
I did that last night. And it got me. I swear to God, buddy.
You did?
We were outside, and I said, "You know what?
Yeah.
It's a blue moon. It's pretty rare."
And what'd she say?
I got. Okay. You know what?
It was all because you didn't deliver it right.
I know.
It was your delivery.
First of all, just
and I didn't have any backup.
Well, first of all, that's the way you said it. I mean, come on, man. You're not selling the thing at all.
Hey, look, that's a blue moon. Pretty
Yeah,
rare.
I can't understand why she didn't turn backflips.
That's
after
exactly
that
how I
What
said
you should have said something along the lines of, "Honey, look at the blue moon and how it reflects off your gorgeous eyes."
Oh my God!
See,
Well,
That's
that's
sick.
why that's Scott JJ.
that would have helped you.
It's all about the romance, bro.
All right.
Okay,
That's
we're trying
why-
to help you
that's
out.
why you take a
All right,
girl-
look, the mayor's sitting here. He's tired of hearing this story. Okay, so don't quit wasting his
The
time.
mayor's got his coffee and 2 cookies. He's good.
No, he's not good. He's got things to do. He runs the city. He's got things to do.
He's
you know,
good.
He can't be hanging out here with a bunch of guys talking about Blue Moon.
Oh, the cookies are
That
for
stuff.
me. See, the mayor thinks of everybody.
I got one cookie for you, and Buddy and I are splitting one. You whined about not getting a cookie last time.
Oh,
so
my
You
gosh.
get your choice of cookie.
Oh my!
Well, there you go.
You know that's the Tom. That's the Tom Beg. Tom's always got the
That's
beg
exactly
going on.
what it is.
He's always got the beg on. All right, real quick, I just want to tell you about this one of the story. We'll go to break. The mayor's here. This is a little scary that possibly Syria using chemical weapons. I talked about this the other day on the show Newsroom. There was a show about this where they thought they had a case of chemical weapons. Turns out the network was wrong and got sued and got killed. But apparently, and I don't know the full impact of this story, so we can look it up, Tom, during the break. But apparently, the Syrian government has denied the fact that they used this, but there's supposedly launched rockets with some kind of agent on it that caused a lot of casualties among civilians. So they've sent a team
Gassing
of
hundreds of people near Damascus.
right, and they're saying maybe several hundred. A team of weapons investigators from the UN are to arrive there on Sunday to start looking at it. So if we get into chemical weapons, that's bad. That's bad enough as it is. So anyway, that's some of the news. And how are you? So let's step aside. We got the mayor of Ocala, Kent Gwynn, right here in the house. Some of your fans out there, Kent, waving to you. Did you vote for the mayor? So got a nice lady and 2 young sons here stopping in to say hi. How are you? Good to see you. Go to Trinity. Jones.
They go to,
All right. All right. NH Jones. Good
NH
school.
Jones.
Smart kids, obviously. Yeah. Good job, Mom. Okay, we'll take a break. The mayor's here. We're going to have our coffee and talk about what's going on. We'll talk about our friend Mac Dunbuddy, who will be funeral on Friday, and what other news is going on in his city. Mayor Kent Gwynn next, right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Having the motivation and making the commitment to quit smoking is a great first step towards becoming smoke-free. However, anyone who's tried to quit smoking knows how challenging it can be. Having the determination to quit may not be enough. You may need some help. If you're ready to quit smoking and are between the ages of 18 and 75, currently smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, and can commit to participating for 24 weeks, you may be interested in a research study which is being conducted to evaluate the use of investigational drugs to see if they can aid individuals in their quest to quit smoking. To help you quit, smoking cessation counseling and all study-related medical care will be provided at no extra cost. You may also be reimbursed for your travel time. To receive more information about this study, how you can participate, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala, 352-629-5800.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking of Rec Talk. Ross graduated with a degree in journalism, an advocate for the underdog, and has written a book called Prodigal. It's a different kind of love story.
Open for debate, where both sides of one issue will be debated.
And it's Thursday. Hank Whitty will be in the studio bringing you veterans news as he does each and every Thursday.
Judith A. Levine is a sociologist. She's written a book called Ain't No Trust: How Bosses, Boyfriends, and Bureaucrats Fail Low-Income Mothers and Why It Matters.
And then Judy Colella will be joining us. She's a musician, a singer. She lived in foster care as a child, and she's written a book called Overcomer: The Journey, book 1 of the MacDara Chronicles. It's a novel for young adults.
Janice Gary is a writing workshop teacher and a contributor to the Baltimore Review, the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the Potomac Review. She's written a book called Short Leash, a memoir of dog walking and deliverance.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM. You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
My eyes will soon be turning red. The cry is not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free.
All right, see good tunes. Raindrops falling on my head. JJ just getting in the weather scheme here with his music. Time now to bring aboard the mayor of Ocala, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a hand. Mayor of Ocala, right here. Come on, give him a hand. Mayor Kent Green, you didn't get that before, did you? See, you're growing stature, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you must have had an interesting meeting last night. I didn't. It hasn't appeared on the newspaper. So the council met last night, and you had several interesting issues that came up. And even though you don't vote, you have the big stick. You can veto things.
I can, but
people forget about that.
But they can override it with a 4/5 vote. But no, last night we had an issue that's, I think, since I've been on council, is 1, 2, 3, third time it's come to us. It's the rezoning of a piece of property at the corner of Southeast 22nd Avenue and Southeast 17th Street.
My neighborhood.
Your neighborhood.
Right, 4 houses down.
Or 3, something like that. Yeah, and they wanted to make it general office, and we voted that down on a 3-2 vote. And now I don't have a vote, but it was. I told them, I said, if you do support it, I'll veto it, and they, denied it 3-2.
So tell them what it was. Actually, you're right. It's just actually 2 houses down in a lot. That's what it is. So empty lot. There are 2 homes there. And then there's my home right there.
Yeah, it's a piece of property that's, I think, 1.42 acres. They wanted to rezone it general office. That could have put any kind of office there, would have created a lot of traffic problems, would have been right turn in, right turn out only on 17th Street westbound, and would have been a exit onto Southeast 22nd Avenue and an entrance. And it just from a traffic standpoint, it just didn't make any sense. It's at the edge of a residential area, and the problem is when you continue westbound on 17th Street, there's some other property that's vacant. And what would have happened eventually is you would have had office after office after office after office, and not that the traffic on 17th Street's bad enough now.
Boy, is it ever! Wow.
When you have all those offices there, it would have been stop. Entrance, exit, turns. Yeah, it would.
And that light there is one who takes that light every day. I've never brought this up on the show because it's really not fair for me to use this as a public forum, but in my favor. But the thing is, getting out of that light is not tough enough.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, literally have waited there 3.5 minutes sometimes.
Oh, I definitely have.
If you're turning left, forget about it.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But the just making a right-hand turn there in the morning, it's bad. So anyway, so we voted it down, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Someone, I'm sure, they'll maybe at a different council, but the person that voted, against it was Daniel, and for it were Daniel and
Daniel voted against it.
Yeah, Daniel voted against it. He wanted it to
make a park. He said let the city buy it for a park.
Yeah, but I mean, he voted to have it rezoned.
Yes.
He and Mary Sue Rich voted to have it rezoned for office, and the balance of the council voted against it being for office. So anyway, they may come back at a different council, but you got Councilman Hilty elect. He's going to take Daniel's place. So, I don't know, what his vote would be, but I'm sure
He's taking his place how?
Well, he's got his seat.
He's running unopposed?
He's running unopposed. So
he's from the Ken Gwynn School of Politics.
Right. Well, I don't know about that, but
it's nice not to have an opponent this time.
Yeah, it's a great thing not to have an opponent. But so that votes will be the same anyway, even if he voted for it. So, and then Councilwoman Rich vote hers would continue to be the same, I'm sure. So anyway, but we'll see what happens.
So now let me ask you this: do you miss that part of it sometimes?
Voting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, sit there. How many years?
12 years.
12 years. You sat there and voted on all these things. Now here you are, the head of the city, so to speak.
Right.
That's really, although you're not in charge of everything.
Right.
But still, you're the titular head of the city. People think of the mayor. And
it's a ceremonial head of the city.
And these issues come up, and you can only use your threat of veto. So if it's a 5-0, and you can't veto because
you could veto it, but I mean it would just be pointless,
right? Because they could override you. But if it's a 3-2,
yes, if it's 3-2, they would have to override it with a 4-1 vote. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a 4-0, I mean a 4-1 vote. If I could get to one person, get them to change their vote. Then, I could do that. But yeah, if it's 5-0, I mean, it's kind of pointless.
You could lobby, you just can't vote.
Yeah, I mean, but I probably wouldn't do that. I would talk to them before I ever vetoed it, because you've got 10 days to.
Did you ever have, when you were a councilman, have anything vetoed that you wanted to pass?
Yeah, there was one that Mayor Foster vetoed. Which was okay. It was 18th Avenue, Deerwood, when we were doing that. I mean, the traffic just didn't make sense. And I know you're going to talk about Mr. Dunwoody here in a second.
Yeah.
Mac and Anna Dunwoody came forward and lobbied the council real hard, especially Anna, to change that. And EL vetoed that ordinance and overrode it. And finally, they fixed all the roads the way you see them now. And then they came back and passed it. But because of Mac and Anna, they got it changed and got the roads expanded. So 18th Avenue works now.
Speaking of Mac Dunwoody, and here's the amazing thing about it is that when I went around talking to people about coming on the show, it was very hard to find anybody because they A, didn't know Mac.
Really?
Or B, they were just too young to know Mac.
Right.
And I was stunned by that because, in my opinion, I'm writing a piece on this for the Best Version Media. You got what I consider to be the giant oaks of Marion County, the Ocala people.
Sure.
And there's maybe a dozen if you stretched it in the last, you call the giants that have gone. Augie Griner was a giant oak, in my opinion, right?
Absolutely.
You can make a case for Bernard Watson being a giant oak. And
definitely.
So, and you have now Mac Dunwoody who was a giant oak, And to me,
Bonnie Heath.
Bonnie Heath, giant. I mean, you can go on. There are many others that we can. That could be a great list sometime for us to make up of the giant oaks we have. We have many others like Whit Palmer. Even Jim Kirk today. I mean, you still got those people who have done so much and given us so much that we have an obligation to know about them and to somehow preserve their memory. How can we not have a school named after Mac Dunwoody?
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't.
We have to.
You have to.
For the man who put his whole life on the line over an issue that he felt was right because he felt like there had to be fair and equitable facilities for black and white in a time when he had to when some of his friends turned on him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that was a mark. That was incredible courage.
Yeah,
and one that every not just black person should think about, but white as well, because it kept us in harmony at a time when it could have exploded in this town.
I remember it. I mean, I was reading that article the other day. I think it was in the paper, 70, 71. We were having the fights and everything at Forest High School when they were naming the school. It was bad. I mean, I remember one day where you had, black kids and white kids out in the middle of the parking lot. You had, on one side, you had, the sheriffs and highway patrol on the other side. And I mean, it was ugly, and, it worked out. I mean, Mac did a good job. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention to all that.
No, at that point in time, you were too young to understand.
I mean, 16 years old, 17 years old.
Right.
It's just,
Well, do you know the story of, by the way, I want to give kudos to Brad Rogers for writing that piece by, is it Jim Tucker that is?
Yeah.
Who wrote it, their piece. Right. It was not just about Mac, it was about all of integration in which Mac had a part.
Right.
And speaking of which, we should be sure and throw in two other giant oaks who are now living, too. One of the former mayors, E.L. Foster being one of those, and Jim Copeland, who was also a guy. Those are guys that, great people who really had an impact. But my point is that this whole thing is such a remarkable story. And I was blessed to have dinner with Mac about 2 months ago. And you've probably heard this, and I've repeated it several times. He was in charge of the physical education program for the county. And he went from school to school to school with a mat in the back of his car. And he would go in and tell teachers to bring their kids into the gym. And he would teach them how to do gymnastics and tumbling, whatever.
I didn't know that.
And he traveled all over the county. And he said, I couldn't believe it. He said, these are supposed to be, quote unquote, separate but equal. Because that's what it was before integration. Right. It had to be, okay, well, we're not going to integrate, we're going to give you equal. He says, it may be separate. It was not even close to equal. Right. He said it was awful. Right. That stuck with him. He said that just wasn't right. Right. And so when the time came, when he had to step up, he became this. Remember, a lot of people fell by the wayside. Ollie Daugherty, Johnny C. They just kind of backed out. They didn't have a stomach for it. Hey, I understand. Right. But who steps in the breach but Mac Dunwoody? Right. And and he has a lot of people who are not too happy about this, and especially about changing the name of the high school. Right. I mean, look, I got to be honest. If I'd have been here at the time, I'd say, hey, you can't change the name of my high school. Yeah. Because, Ocala High School was special to me, right? Yeah, but the reason he did it makes a lot of sense now. But, think about the pressure. Ken, you've dealt with pressure all your political career. Think about having all that political pressure on you and having to do something.
Sure, I'm sure Mac was under a lot of pressure, but I was reading the article and I thought, well, how could you have two high schools in Ocala and call one of them Ocala High School and call? They had to be named different.
Of course, and not only that, what happened was that the kids kept going back to their old high schools. Right. The Howard kids didn't want to go to Ocala High School, and the Howard and Ocala kids didn't want to go to Howard. Right. So they blended the colors. They took the gold from Howard.
That was a good idea. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
Where that came from.
I didn't. So kudos to Brad Rogers for running that story, and he'll be on tomorrow. But so I just think it's important. I told my wife today, I said, it really bothers me that these stories don't get told and don't get remembered, because there's certain things that need to be remembered. And I hope this will be embedded in our DNA in this county.
I hope so.
People like that. So
yeah, I was sitting at Bonnie Heath's funeral. I said, I said, wow, what a great guy. I said, I wish I'd gotten to know people like this, and hopefully we can get to know people like that before they pass away, because you don't want to sit at their funeral and wish you had a.
Exactly, and I think that's what a lot of us do.
Maybe we could have a show here where we could talk about, Cal, and some of the things that happened with, EL and Jim and, some of those folks.
You help me line it up? You see the microphones we got now in our new studio?
Yeah.
Think about the storytelling we could do right here.
Oh, it would be great.
Devote a whole show to just that subject. people who are, and we'll get the Whit Palmers and whoever,
right?
And get them to come in and tell their stories. I mean, Bruce Mozart's been on the show a number of times.
Bruce is great.
I mean, what a treasure. He's So I mean, we got to get that. Someone has to pass these stories down. I told my wife today and my daughter at lunchtime with Laurie, I said, the reason I wrote a book called The Boys from Old Florida in 2005 about the oral history of Florida football as I knew it and people I interviewed, I wanted my grandchildren to know if they cared about Florida football, which they probably don't, they could go and get a first-hand account of what it was really like at the University of Florida playing football. I mean, not that that's big a topic, but that's what we're talking about. Silver Springs, another thing. It's got to get in the archives. Now, Silver Springs is archived a little bit.
Right.
But this is a good project for us to do.
Well, like Augie Griner telling me about playing basketball at Alligator Alley. You used to say Alligator Alley. People, what's Alligator Alley? What's that?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. There was a gym, and and then its day, they had glass backboards. They were considered to be the cat's meow.
Yeah.
And that was before nobody in the SEC had glass backboards.
Right.
And Florida Gym, as it was called, and later Alligator Alley, that's what it had. And I was thinking about it the other day because I saw Pete Maravich play in that gym.
Really? LSU?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a great night. So, again, we're like two old codgers here talking about the old days. And what I like about you is you're not a governor of yesterday. I mean, you're not a mayor of yesterday. You're a mayor of today and tomorrow, which I love your vision for downtown. But we do have to remember we have a rich history. We have to protect it. And we're going to remember people who were special, don't we?
Well, we do. And, one of the things when we did our master plan, and it escapes people that weren't here, but I told them, I said, we used to have a great downtown, but we just tore it down and we want to rebuild. And that's what the people that were, wanting to do the master plan, they said, look, let's rebuild what we had. It won't be the same, but it'll be that quaint Ocala community in the downtown area. That's what people want, and that's what we're, trying to get to.
Here's what's so funny. Excuse me, go ahead.
Well, I want to make sure I talk about this other county commission thing before we...
Hold it 1 second, then we'll get to it.
Okay.
I just want to say what you said is so true, because sometimes what we had is better than what we're going to get.
Oh, absolutely.
That includes Silver Springs and downtown.
Oh,
those are two things that what we had, we'd be lucky to ever get that well again. What's your story? What's your story in the county commission?
I don't know if you read in the newspaper yesterday, but Commissioner Bryant had come out and talked about she wanted to do look at synthetic drugs.
Yes.
We, back in December, I had arranged a appointment with the Attorney General's office. They worked with us on creating a ordinance for synthetic drugs. Really wasn't one in the state. There was a state statute, but we created one with the help of Pat Gilligan and the Attorney General's office. Sent it back and forth. They liked it. We liked it. We passed it, and it worked. Had a little summit, invited the Attorney General down, Jerome Bondi, State Attorney's Office, people that are in law enforcement, substance abuse from 5 different counties. Commissioner Bryant stopped by for a photo op and left. I think she had another event to go to, but we had a great meeting. It was in the paper. That ordinance works. When people go in to buy synthetic drugs in convenience stores in Ocala, the response by the convenience store owners is, we don't sell that anymore. You got to go to the county to buy that. She has now thought that it would be a great idea to create a new ordinance to outlaw synthetic drugs. And I had just had a conversation with her. I said, Commissioner, all you need to do is enact our ordinance and the one that Bellevue has. It works. And she said, no, we're going to create a whole new ordinance, and we would ask you to copy ours, and we're going to have a campaign to put stickers in the convenience store saying we don't sell those drugs. And I said, of course they don't. I said, they're already illegal. So I don't know really where she's headed with that, but I can tell you that our ordinance, the City of Ocala's ordinance, City of Bellevue's ordinance, which you just left a message with my good friend Chief Strickland, who I grew up with, and told him that we wanted to work together on that and continue the work that we've done and continue on. So I don't get on my county commissioner friends much, but this is kind of like symbolism over substance. We've already been there, done that, works.
So what you're saying is redundant.
It's redundant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
can you hang around for the rest of the half
absolutely.
hour? We'll take a break, come back, finish up with Mayor Ken Quinn after this time out on the Voice of Ocala. I'm Buddy Martin on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
WOCA. WOCA, Ocala.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
Hello all, Joe Martone here for Karaoke Time. You hear me each morning for the segment of Fun with Joe? Well, fun is what I do. So the next time you want to have a get-together, for just about any reason, give me a call. 470-0276 for Karaoke Time. That number is 470-0276. Everybody likes to sing, and with the words on the screen, it's just that much easier. Call Karaoke Time, 470-0276 for the next event, big or small. Karaoke Time can keep the fun in your business, too.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Fill my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think.
All right, Merrick, well, we talked right to the break. We got about a minute and a half to go here. Anything else to finish up the business on in terms of the city and what's happening down there, or anything you go personally you want to throw in there? Baseball, maybe, or
baseball. I mean, we're really, really, really close on that. We got the license agreement is virtually done. We've got one more property owner to deal with on the property, and I think that's done. So we will come out here probably, talking to Matt Brower, probably the next council meeting, the first one in September. to make this go public. Start talking about it, bring it out to the community. Take it to the Kiwanis clubs, Rotary clubs, etc. Talk about it, do the dog and pony show, and then bring it to county commission. Say put it on the ballot. So hopefully they'll see the wisdom of that.
I talked to a guy who's kind of involved in not directly in minor league baseball. You actually know him, and he said you really think you're going to get the Yankees? Because he said I hear that they're not don't want to move out of Tampa. I said, well, I think so. If they build a stadium, I think the deal could be done. He said, you sure? I said, I'm not sure, but I think I'm hearing is pretty much if we get the stadium, it's a done deal, right?
We've talked to them every week for. I've talked to them every week for almost 2 years, since August of 2011.
Let me guess, you were talking about the weather, right?
Yeah, right. No, they're definitely wanting to come. Yeah. They wouldn't have wasted 2 years of their time if they weren't planning on coming.
Yeah, meaning the Steinbetters, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And all right. Well, thanks for dropping by, and let's get that little panel set up so we can get folks here and get the Giant Oak folks going on. And again, we'll pay our respects to Mac Dunwoody on Friday. I'll see you there.
All right. Thank you.
Mayor Kent Gwynn, who's nice enough to drop by here and visit with us a little bit, catch us up on the city and the business of the city. Like Tom said, by the way, we're just talking about Tony James. Tony James, the interim head of United Way. It's the mother of Tom James. And Tony taught Tom everything he knows. So, maybe I shouldn't say that. And congratulations. I'd like to see her take it full time, but she probably don't want to work full time. But anyway, that's good news. Good thing to hear about. Coming up next hour, we may have Richard Barber in here. Richard's a peanut farmer. There's a story about government aid that I talked about on the phone. It's in the Star Banner, a little bit of it. A couple weeks ago. I said, but they left out part of it. So maybe Richard Barber will be next. Maybe not. Never know on this program. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
July is the busiest vacation month of the year, so it's the slowest month in the car business. Our dealership is empty, and it's bumming me out.
This is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Here's my plan to have a no-bummer summer. Trade in your bummer of a clunker today, and I'll give you top dollar for your trade-in.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Get top dollar for your old car today.
Are you bummed out over bad credit? Don't be! Our For the People credit approval process wants to turn your frown upside down and help you get approved for a nicer, newer car.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Kick your old car to the curb once and for all and get top dollar for your trade-in, regardless of the age, mileage, or condition.
Hurry! This deal ends when we've helped 47 people get a nicer, newer ride.
I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales, online at prestigeforyou.com,
or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source. If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, it's our business to make your business better. Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA, keeping you in touch with Ocala.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Students take the ACT, but most of them don't make the grade. A report by the group which administers the exam says only about a quarter of seniors scored high enough to be considered ready for college or the workforce. A ride on a school bus turned into a trip to the hospital for kids in Kansas. The bus carrying girls to a day camp overturned on a state highway today. Thankfully, all of the injuries were minor. Chances are you were deep in debt after the financial crisis just 5 years ago. Well, times have really changed since then. For many of us, S&P Dow Jones Indices shows far fewer defaults on mortgages and credit cards last month than a year ago. That said, most of us are spending more cautiously. Is there a doctor in the house? When a cab jumped the curb and struck a pedestrian this week in Manhattan, there was, and it was none other than Mehmet Oz. The TV doc says he really didn't need to be there at all, though. Good Samaritan made a tourniquet out of a belt for the victim who had a bad leg wound. This is ABC News.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry. We didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
About your sensei.
Bow to your sensei. It's time for the second hour of the voice of Ocala. Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
It is, as the man said, hour 2 of the program called The Voice of Ocala, and our new gigs here. Not new so much anymore. What are we, a week and a half now? JJ's still new. He just got back from a cruise. But we're here at the Paddock Mall, right at the entrance of the food court, where people like these ladies now are walking by. We always like to wave to everybody as they walk by and say hi. They're a friendly group for the most part, coming out and like to say hello. The international signal for you're doing great is 2 thumbs up. So if you come by and want to say 2 thumbs up, we'd appreciate that. Meanwhile, we hope you bought lots of stuff in the Paddock Mall. Buddy Martin, along with Tom Schmitz and JJ LaSalva. Look, Mark Zuckerberg's going to fix the world, okay? He's got it all figured out there. And
don't you just want to hit this guy?
Well, I told you, I kind of feel like I'm looking at the evil empire sort of unfolding here. You know, I know we have
Pinky in the brain.
I know we have a local people involved, by the way, in the company, and from Ocala, Marion County. But I mean, you know how you see these movies about the guy who wants to take the world over?
Yeah, Pinky in the brain.
Yeah, it's always
one wants to rule the world, the other one's insane.
Yeah. So now the latest thing is, and I guess this could be a good thing, but I'm always suspicious when Mark Zuckerberg's involved. Like, you know, not that the federal government's not already taking all of our personal information. They are. But Mark Zuckerberg says he wants to have the entire world have internet. 7 billion people. And he thinks it can be done. We have 4 billion now who still don't have it. So more that don't have it that do have it. I'm thinking, how about some people who don't have any food to eat? You know, isn't that a little bit more important than, say, the internet? And he says, well, let me finish. And he says, you got to get cheaper phones and you have cheaper access. Now, on that count, I'm agreeing with him. But is this not a swipe directly at Apple? I mean, you know, after all, then the iPhone and what they've done. And you know, I don't really care. But the fact is that they've got this thing called internet.org, Facebook, Ericsson, MediaTek, Nokia, Opera, Qualcomm, Samsung formed a partnership to connect the remaining 2/3 of the human race who currently don't have the internet to the internet. Now, let me just ask you.
Like, why is this a need to happen? We just said 2 days ago that 50% of people haven't ever received a phone call in their life.
Correct.
So what are you going to hand them a laptop? Think that's going to solve all their problems they got going on? These people are like in third world country wars. You know, I don't really think some tribe in Niger is really worried about having an iPad.
Niger, yeah. Here's the deal. He says the mission is one of I don't want to say that it's charity, but he says the unfair economic reality is that those already on Facebook have way more money than the rest of the world combined.
Well, duh.
Excuse me. Since when does that make you happy? Do we not read stories every day about people who hit the lottery, who were out and are homeless, and 2 years later? Why does he think that money is going to make? I think it's a pretty happy people in this world.
I think he just wants to have more Facebook.
Hold on. There are tribes in the Amazon basin that are perfectly happy, that don't have any money and damn sure don't need Facebook.
They look a lot more happy than we are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, does he not watch PBS?
I don't know. I guess it's just, you know, now that he's conquered everything else, he's only got the world left, I suppose. But it just makes me kind of,
once again, doesn't somebody need to hit this guy?
No, Tom, I told you.
Somebody take Mark Zuckerberg and go upside his Facebook-loving head. Somebody do that?
I just wish, well, I think he's done a great thing here with Facebook in terms of the concept. It's gotten out of control, and it's starting to annoy me, as you know, anyway, because it's being used for a lot of the wrong reasons. It's become Instagram anyway, you know. Well, and there is something to be said for the fact that it's connected people. However, look at Egypt right now. Look at the Arab Spring. We have that. We have Facebook and Google to thank for that too, as well.
Well, you know, but that's a little different take. The wrong guy got swept into power over in Egypt, but that movement needed to happen, and Facebook was a very integral part of that movement.
I'm all about people having freedom of expression and being connected and having First Amendment rights. I don't know that if Occupy Wall Street did a whole lot for us. That was kind of the movement that was born out of the internet. In all, there's no question it's better to have the internet. I don't know if it's better to have Facebook, but nonetheless, look at the bad side of that too. So when a guy is stuck for things to do, he says, well, conquer the world. Mark Zuckerberg obviously wants to conquer the world.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's because he really thinks the world would be a better place? Or is it because with 7 billion people with internet access instead of 3 billion, that's the more juice he can tell his advertisers that he wants to pay for on Facebook?
Of course that's part of it. That's all about him.
Look, how many homes can you reach right now? Right now I can reach 3 billion. Okay, that's good.
It's not
what
enough.
if I was able to say, hey, right now I can reach every human on the face of the earth?
I'm seeing the Saturday Night Live skit on sales meeting for Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see now. We got 3 billion. Boys, we can do better now. We got to have 5 billion. And we need to, we need to get this thing up another 2,000%. Facebook doesn't have enough money as it is.
You better go ahead and make sure that New York sends you some cash, because I know for a fact that some of the writers for Saturday Night Live listen to this show. And now they have just canceled what they were going to do Saturday night. And you've given them the
Well, they can't because it's all canned right now. So I get your drift.
Is it canned already?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been for quite some time.
I thought Saturday Night Live.
No, we won't have any new shows till October or whatever.
That's right, yeah.
Let's talk about Labor Day. You guys got plans?
Yes, I'm not going to be at work.
I don't even know when Labor Day is.
It's the first Monday of September, JJ. It's the same every year.
JJ, in as much as that you have to put a show together for that day, I think you better look at your calendar. It's coming pretty quick. So we learn, for those who don't know, we run a best of show on Monday on holidays like that.
It's not next Monday, but the Monday after, JJ.
Yeah, so you might want to get on that, JJ. But apparently they're projecting that. How many Americans do you think are going to travel on that weekend on Labor Day?
Labor Day weekend, because it's the unofficial,
into
it's the
summer.
Official last weekend of summer. Mm-hmm. I would say probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 million.
15 million. 15 million people traveling on Labor Day? No, that's not the right answer.
Oh.
How many people you think in America will travel on Labor Day?
It's more than 15 million.
JJ, how many do you think?
30
million, JJ says. JJ says 30 million people will travel at least 50 miles from our home on Labor Day.
50 miles. See, now that widens it out.
How does it change it?
That means I could go to Disney World, and I could go to Gainesville.
Traveling?
That'd be traveling.
No, it's not 50 miles.
But I could go to Disney World. You said at least 50 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. So Disney World's 80 miles. So, yeah.
But I mean, that's not traveling when you go to Disney World?
I don't consider it traveling.
Well, because you want to go there every day.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. So going to Crystal River then would be travel.
Almost. It's a little short. So Labor Day weekend, travel is going to be up 4.2% in this country. And those traveling 50 miles or more will be 32.7 million.
That's what's up, JJ.
Wait a minute now. Hold on. 2012. Now that means it's going to go up next year. So it's 4.2% above 32.7 million, whatever that is. That's the highest number since 2009. So that's a lot of folks out there, a lot of gas, and still the gas prices are going to continue to be high. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do on Labor Day. I don't like to travel. I don't like to sit home. What do you do when you don't like to travel and like to sit home? I guess you go for a walk, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
you could go for
whatever.
Labor Day, what am I going to I'm probably going to go to Disney World.
I want you to think about this. What do you think about economic aid to farmers? Okay?
Yeah, I've been reading this story.
We have to pay certain things for our farmers to be able to support them, to keep them growing food. Now, you might say, well, how come they could get paid by the government $10 billion? Well, here's something I learned today. I did not know that $8 billion of the $10 billion given to farmers to grow stuff goes for food stamps.
What?
$8 billion. That's what Richard told me.
I'm confused. How is that?
Well, I'm going to get Richard to explain it to me. I tried to get him to explain it to me on the phone, but I couldn't quite grasp it because let's face it, I'm not the swiftest guy in the world when it comes to math anyway. So Richard's going to come in. There's a story here a couple of weeks ago that in the Star Banner about Richard Barber, about what's going on in the farming world. And now some of them take insurance. You have to sometimes insure your crops and sometimes the banks require you to insure your crops. So Richard Barber will be along shortly, and we'll talk to him about how are things in the farming community of Marion County. Remember at one time we were a very agrarian county. We still are, but we used to be even bigger. Including citrus and farming and what have you. So Richard Barber, who's I think the biggest peanut farmer around these parts, and as we know, left having on last time, he grows peanuts that go in the payday candy bars. Do you know that? How about that?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get Richard to tell us. We'll take a break. We're live at the Paddock Mall here in our new studio. Stay tuned. More coming your way with Richard Barber after this time out on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney, fighting for accident victims' justice since 1976. Once charges are filed by the state's attorney's office, does the state's attorney's investigators then pick up the investigation, or is it still an active police investigation?
No, I can tell you our job doesn't end until conviction, and in most cases it doesn't even end after conviction because of the appeals and stuff. We've got a great working relationship with the state attorney's office here, as does the sheriff's office. And, when they do file the case, they help us with investigators if they have them to give up. But for the most part, the prosecutor and the lead investigator kind of work hand in hand to make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted.
That was a reprise of Ask the Cops, proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney, fighting for accident victims' justice since 1976, and can be heard the second and fourth Friday of every month on the Voice of Ocala.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
As you're driving down the road, you may love your car, you may hate it. But the fact remains that you've got to keep it running to get back and forth to where you need to go. WOCA, The Source, and Sunrise Automotive are here to help with that. For a limited time, if you mention WOCA, you will receive $10 off an oil change at Sunrise Automotive. That's right, not 10%, $10 off any oil change at Sunrise Automotive. Sunrise Automotive is an ASE certified automotive repair center, so they know how to take care of your car. Located at 1800 Northwest 10th Street. All you have to do is call to schedule your oil change, 690-1993. Mention that you heard this ad on WOCA and get $10 off an oil change. It's just that easy. So now you have 10 more reasons to head down to Sunrise Automotive, 1800 Northwest 10th Street, Ocala. And don't forget to listen to Matt every Monday morning at 10 a.m. for auto repair with personal care. Right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source, your source for $10 off an oil change.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Sign up for this year's Marion County Heart Walk and be part of a local movement that's helping others live longer, healthier lives. Join Chairman Dr. Jim Henningsen and walk with us on Saturday, October 5th at Baseline Road Trailhead. It's a free event promoting physical activity and heart-healthy living. To find out how you can help the fight against the #1 killer of all Americans, visit us online at MarionHeartWalk.org.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on a rainy Wednesday here at the Paddock Mall. My pleasure to welcome back to the show my old high school teammate and guy who is known in these parts for his political persuasion as well as his passion for the Florida Gators, and he likes peanuts a lot. He's one of the biggest farmers anywhere around these parts, and I don't know how big, but I know there aren't too many peanut farmers bigger than him. Anyway, Richard Barber joins our show. Richard, how are you, my friend?
Buddy, it's always good to be here with you, and I like your new place.
How about that?
Yeah.
You think we ought to keep it?
Yeah, I think so. You got a good view here.
We do. And you could probably sit here right now, and I'm sure that all your fans would recognize you and you'd want your autograph for long. So I can't keep you too long because I can't afford to have the large crowds of people waiting for your autograph. So
I don't know about that, buddy.
Richard, it's good to see you. We don't have all the time we'd like today, but I called you this morning because first of all, you called me.
Right.
And I've been trying to get a hold of you anyway.
Right.
So I said, would you mind dropping by?
Right.
Because I wanted to understand better. I was out of town when the article in the Star Banner appeared about farm subsidies and farm aid, and there's obviously a real the understanding of this thing is really gotten out of whack. And you said you did the interview at the Star Banner and some things got left out you wanted to say. And I said, well, first of all, let's set the premise of what we're talking about. Then you can explain what you wanted to end that you got left out. And Tom Tom Spitz has read the article too. So we're going to learn together about farm subsidies, and tell us what this story is all about.
Well, buddy, the Star Banner, of course, is always helpful and wants to try to explain to the people of the county that's interested in agriculture, which we've always been an agronic, we've always had ag in our background, and that's where our history is, and it's changed a lot in the last few years. But really, the Farm Bill is something that developed back in the 30s, whenever you and I were born, during the Roosevelt years and before, and they had subsidies to help farmers and encourage farmers to grow food, and to help them stay in business, they offered subsidies for many, many crops: sugar, cotton, corn, wheat, peanuts, and all the major field crops. So that's where the subsidies come from. And then we had 50 years of continuous Democratic rule of the Congress, and that program kind of grew through the years to where it was a large subsidy program, and it still is to some extent large, but it is really being pared down since 2002. 2002 changed the Farm Bill entirely and went from direct subsidies to counter-cyclical payments and direct payments on all the crops that was being grown, which was sugar and peanuts and corn, and they all had a base, and they all were subsidized up to try to be competitive in the export market. That was the purpose of trying to be competitive. Mm-hmm. So we got and drew those subsidies up until this year, and the new thinking of the Congress this year is to cut the subsidies out and go totally with insurance, which will be subsidized by the taxpayers to some degree to help a farmer, but the farmer will also pay his share of the insurance so he can borrow money and stay in business and hopefully make a profit. So that's the purpose. And so that's the thinking of the Congress now. Instead of direct subsidies on the direct payment and the countercyclical payment to compete in the world market. We've had a great market for about 3 years, even though the rest of the economy hadn't been doing all that well. The ag economy's been doing well for the past 3, 4, 5 years. But there's a bottom side to that because of all the inputs that you have. Even though we're receiving historical prices on our commodities, the inputs are also historically high.
What's an input?
The input is your fertilizer, the input is your seed, the input is your chemicals and all of your things that you have to purchase, your land rent, your equipment, all of those things that you have.
Prices are going up.
And all of that's going sky high. So the bottom line.
Not to mention gasoline prices still high.
Yeah, your bottom line is still profitable, and it's probably as good as it's been in a long time.
But there's an intangible. I'm telling you this like I know. I don't have any idea. You lived it.
I said this to you this morning, I think.
There's an intangible called things like hurricanes. There's
Mother
things
Nature.
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature.
And there's no way, I mean, other than getting insurance, and that's going to cost you money if you get it, which I think you have in the past gotten insurance.
Right.
And so the bank who loans you money so you can farm year round, well, because your crop comes in, it doesn't come in all year round, it comes in, and you got to get, all farmers have to have loans to get there, their bridge loan, right?
Right.
And so if you want that loan, you got to have the insurance, right?
That's correct.
So
I
now
sit on the Farm Credit Board with Farm Credit of Florida, and we wrestle with that all the time, trying to make correct decisions of how to finance a farmer with the crop that he's trying to grow. So that's a big decision, and we do need an insurance.
Richard, I have a question. This is Tom Schmitz. The direct payment that was created in the 30s with this farm bill and the way they're going with insurance now, the farmer has to pay a premium just like any insurance has done, just like you do with your car insurance, your health insurance, or anything. And there's a deductible that the farmer has to meet. Am I correct in that?
Well, the way it's run, Tom, is you buy a percentage of your crop that you want to insure, and then there's a price, a flat price. Like on peanuts, it's about $500 a ton. I can't tell you all the other numbers, but peanuts I'm familiar with. So you can insure up to 70% of your crop at $500 a ton at your average yield that you've got a history of. And you can insure that with an insurance company. Now, that insurance premium is subsidized by the Congress. That's the big argument about the Congress is trying to decide if the insurance program with the subsidy the taxpayer is going to have to pay might be more expensive than the direct payments. And that's the unanswered question. We don't know.
So which is costing the taxpayer more?
Well, we don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
We don't know that yet. But I can tell you in my own instance, with my peanut crop, whenever I put the numbers to it and add up what I'm going to spend and what I'm going to sell with my averages, I'm not a big fan of insurance. Yeah.
But you were last year. You had it last year.
Yeah, I did last year. But what I want to say is if you've got a drought and you've got a hurricane and you're gambling when you don't insure. You're playing with your buddy.
What's your worst enemy? It's got to be drought, right?
Drought here is your worst enemy. Hurricane can be bad too at harvest on peanuts. Too much water. Like wrong right time. Now, we're getting water that we need, and I don't want to say a thing about that because we've been way behind on water for a long time. We need to replenish that aquifer.
No doubt about
we
that.
Need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
This is your season. If I know peanuts, and I remember going to football games and having boiled peanuts, because that's when you got the green peanuts.
This is when I'm going to start harvesting Monday.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing all day.
How many
today.
acres, Richard?
I got 800 acres this year.
800 acres,
yeah.
okay.
I had 1,200 last year. I cut back because we had a surplus last year, had the largest crop and the best price that we've ever had last year. The whole industry cut back, so we cut back 41%, if you can believe that.
Wow.
The industry cut back 41%.
Semi-retirement for him, Richard.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because this is something that confuses me about this bill.
Okay.
This bill is hung up in Congress.
Yes, sir.
And the insurance is part of the reason it's hung up, but a big part of the reason is the farm bill has the food stamp bill. I don't understand how food stamps are part of the farm bill.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Tom, because I did say, and I had that included in my article.
And they wrote about a paragraph
and they took it out, really. They really didn't cover that. But yes, that is a big problem. The farm bill, basically, we'll talk in round numbers. The farm bill is about a $10 billion a year cost to the taxpayers. About $10 billion. 80% of that, Tom, goes to food stamps.
What?
$8 billion goes to food stamps, and for the farmers that grow the food and produce the food and take the chance and do the gamble, they're spending $2 billion, and they're up there arguing about that. But the Star-Banner cut that out of the article, and I called them, and they said they were going to have another article later explaining that. But they cut that out because that is controversial and is something that the present administration has advertised, something that they've been on. They've given food stamps away. Everywhere you look, there's a food stamp ad that you can go get food stamps. So it's gone up 40% in the last 5 years. It's gone up 40 or 50%.
I will say that they wrote 7 pages on it, so they did write a lot on it.
They did write a lot, but they didn't write the part the point that I wanted to make, which is the point we're making right now. They did not cover that.
And I'm not quite understanding that still. I don't. My simple mind, I know you said that you had direct subsidies originally. That's when the money came to the farmers.
That's been since 2002.
Okay, now suddenly that funds are being diverted to other things? Are you getting the money, having to pay it back to the government for the food? How exactly is the money from the food stamps coming out of that? I don't quite understand it.
The food stamps is entirely a different. It has nothing to do with the farm bill.
Okay, so
it's just appropriated.
Okay, so
under the farm bill. Okay. So
why is
the purpose for that is back when it started in the 30s, like y'all were talking about. They used to give away commodities.
It was part of the New Deal.
It was a part of the New Deal. And they gave away cheese and they gave away all of that.
Right.
So that's how it got in the farm bill.
Now I'm understanding.
That's how it got in.
Because they actually said, hey, let's give some food. That's right. We got a surplus. Let's give it to people who need it.
They had the government cheese and everything like that.
So it grew and grew and grew. And suddenly, all of a sudden now, that food has become a substantial portion of what you're giving away.
Yeah, but President Obama has got the Congress over a barrel because he says he won't sign a farm bill at all, unless it's got the food stamps in it. And the Democrats won't give us a farm bill, so we still are in conference committee right now between the Senate and the House. The House has already disapproved it. They didn't vote for it. They approved it without the food stamps.
Okay, now
they approved it without the local.
What did locals contingent do? They voted.
They voted to do what I'm talking about.
They voted on your side.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen there?
Knowing how politics goes, because he's not going to sign a bill.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll end up paying it. And that's the way everything else has gone since 2008. I mean, we've lost them all. And it's discouraging to me, but we've lost them all.
I will stop you right there because I'm going to take a break. I'll come back. I want you to tell me, and I've known you a lot of years, the gospel truth about where farming and agriculture is right now, where it's going, and what the future of it holds, and what has to be done to ensure that obviously we're going to have food, which is the real reason we grow food.
That's
so
right.
We can have to eat.
We'll
take a break. Richard Barber's with us. We'll talk more about that and the politics of farming as well. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Sports, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
Relations got you down. Are you at your wit's end? Does the opposite sex just confuse you? Then I've got the solution for you, Dr. Buddy.
Well, let me just tell you what you slugs are doing wrong. Remember, dummy, it's about the chase and the romantic interludes, okay? Now, here's the difference. Instead of dinner and a movie, which seems obsolete these days, they have this random phone text, Facebook post, instant message, and quote-unquote non-dates. Traditional courtship, which is still what women want, guys. Picking up a telephone, asking someone on a date, maybe even going as far to pick them up in your car, requires courage, strategic planning, and a considerable investment in ego.
So now you know where to tune in to get all your relationship advice. It's the Dr. Buddy Show every Monday on the Voice of Ocala. You can succeed only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Yeah, Lance.
Yes, George.
You need anything out of Devon Self-Storage?
Devon Self-Storage?
Yes, you know, across from Hobby Lobby, the one that's open late, and I have my own code.
Why are you going there?
To get my fishing gear in the boat and to get our tickets to the 3rd annual All About You Angels calendar at the Hilton this Saturday, August 25th from 2 to 5 p.m.
At Devon Self-Storage?
Yes, John has the tickets there.
Boat? What boat?
I'll be right back.
George!
So what did you do with your weekend? Me? I was flying, because I'm taking flying lessons from Ocala Aviation. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I'd like to give that a shot, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I've got the solution. It's called the Discovery Flight, and that's exactly what it is. It helps you discover the wonder of flying and if it's for you. It's only $99, and it gives you the chance to learn a bit more about the airplane and then actually go for a ride with a flight instructor and take control of the airplane. That's how I got started, and now I'm on my way to being a pilot. Yeah, I know, scary thought, right? But the demand for qualified pilots is stronger than ever, and with the help of Ocala Aviation, you could make a career change and learn to be a commercial pilot. But it all starts with a Discovery Flight. So stop by the flight school, conveniently located at the Ocala Airport, visit the website at ocalaaviation.com, or call 861-7484. That's 861-7484. Ocala Aviation. Your adventure starts here.
Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great new meal. Dairy Queen's now serving 3 different $5 meals. Hot dogs with chili, cheese, slaw, whatever. Quarter pound with cheese, loaded up any way you like it. Solid filet chicken tenders. And each meal comes with fries, a drink, and a sundae for only $5. You got that right. Nobody beats that deal. A great value and a great meal. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Welcome back to Voice of Ocala. Richard Barber's my guest. Richard's a well-known political leader and all-around good citizen. A guy who's lived in this county all of his life, man, he's living here, bleeds orange and blue. Told me from the first time he ever saw Tim Tebow throw a pass in his first spring game, he'd be one of the great players. Made a prediction. There you go. There's a gator chomping right there. Little Tim Tebow action. There's over there, look at there. There's more a Miami fan. There's the U. We got all kinds here. Anyway, Richard joins us. We're talking about the politics of farming. For those who don't know, Marion County used to be a huge agricultural county. Still is pretty big, but back in the day, it was one of our 3 top
industries, farming and throwing citrus farming as well. And Richard has been with it for a long time now. He's got a big birthday coming up Friday, and he's seen this county change, and he's seen the ups and downs and sideways of all the political worlds. And he's talking about how difficult it is for farmers today to operate on the current administration's policies regarding subsidies and food stamps. What I want to ask you, Richard, for is an assessment of where we are now. And I want you to speak both a national level and a local level in terms of you've fought the good fight for a long time. Are you getting wary of this? And is anything discouraging enough for you to hang it up? Or what do you think the future is for farmers like yourself?
Buddy, I'm enthused. I love it. But what I get worried about is the average age of the farmer is something a little over 50 years old. And I think it's about 57. If I remember, my numbers may not be exactly right, but I think it's 57. And there's not a lot of young people going into production agriculture. There's a lot of people going into agriculture with other technology, but not out there growing the food. And that really concerns me because, first of all, it takes quite an investment to get started into farming. It's hard to grow into it, which is what I did. I kind of grew into it from a small farm with an ag degree from the University of Florida, and kind of grew into it over the years and kind of expanded and bought land and just kept right on.
Why did you do that? Why? What
because
made you?
I loved it.
You love the dirt. You always loved the dirt.
I had it inside of me, and if you don't have it inside of you, buddy, you can't do it. You give it up. You give it
the
up.
battles that you have had with Mother Nature all these years.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have felt like Doug Dickey or something up there sometime.
Well, that's
really.
right. There's many times that if you know that you just feel like throwing in the towel. The old farmer told me back when I was first starting, and I'd had a bad luck with a crop of corn, and it didn't do well. And he told me, I said, this is really discouraging. He said, come around about next February to March, whenever the land is fresh and the new springtime is coming. He says, you'll forget about all those problems. He said, you'll be right back out there. And that's what it is. It's something that you got inside of you, and you need that to be a successful farmer. You need to have that love. Because you're going to get those downs, and they're going to come. And there's few ups. There's not many ups, but there's a lot of downs. Yeah. But you got to have the tenacity. That's a great word.
That's a great word.
You got to have the tenacity to stay.
Well, you were a Gator fan. You know what that's about.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to stay. Right. Me and you went through all of those years.
We had a lot of bad crops.
Well, 5-5 was a good year, wasn't it?
Bowl game. Any kind of bowl game was like it's like the championship.
That's right.
Let me go back to something you just said. You touched on something there that's really critical. We don't have time to cover it all day. You got to come back. You almost said, I think, is we're losing our farmers because no one wants to go to the dirt. And the big companies are taking over and engineering our foods and growing in a different way. The big conglomerates are taking it over now. And the small farmer, although you're a big farmer by farming standards, but you're a small farmer compared to the big Monsanto or whoever you want to say it is. What are some of the big companies in farming?
Okay, well, you got those people that they're big chemical companies, right. And they do a lot of research and a lot of technology
and engineering
and engineering. Right. And what they do is they produce the seed.
Yeah, but who does
that
the farming?
We use? And they're owned by a stock. It's a stockholding company. Right. It's on the
Wall Street.
It's on the Wall Street.
Right.
It's a stockholding. company.
But who's growing those seeds?
Well, the farmers are growing them under their supervision and their development.
Right.
They develop, but you have to pay them a royalty. In a lot of cases, you pay a royalty.
So there you go.
For the advancement that we've made in agriculture. We have gone from I didn't bring I didn't bring my notes here, buddy, to tell you exactly, but we have gone from one farmer feeding about 7 or 8 people to one farmer feeding about 50. So that's been done with technology and with new methods and new advancement in farming. If we had to farm like I farmed when I was in FFA with you at Ocala High School,
right.
We couldn't feed anybody we would be starving. We'd have to look to the world, and there's nowhere to look. That's the pitiful part about it, is there's nowhere to look. America really is the backbone of agriculture in the world, and we are the leaders. And without us, we couldn't go to the world market to get these corn. Now Brazil, since Jimmy Carter, they've developed a great soybean and corn market down there in Brazil because we got out of the market with some of Jimmy Carter's policies that he did.
He's a peanut farmer too.
He was a peanut farmer, but I didn't vote for him. But he's a peanut farmer. But what he did is he called that embargo against Russia. Whenever against the world, whenever he invaded Afghanistan.
Right.
And that really, I was in the soybean and corn business, and it put me out of both.
So the politics are your subject. We only got about a minute. The subject of politics is you can be in it, not just Mother Nature. It's also Washington can put you out of business too.
Yeah, let me tell you what the Commissioner of Agriculture, Bob Crawford, told me one day. He called me. I was on a lot of his advisory boards, and he asked me how I was doing, and I started telling him a little bit about the problems that was going on with agriculture. And then what he said, it was really true. He said, and then you got the government to worry about.
That's got to be a tough deal for sure. So, all right. So, you're still putting your peanuts in payday candy bar?
Well, no, I gave that contract up.
Oh, so now what do you cut back?
The contract was a good contract at the time because it gave some premium for growing those peanuts. But the yield and the problems with getting it done ended up not being a good deal. And that's the reason they went with a premium, is to get those grown. Those Spanish peanuts don't do that well in Florida.
They don't.
They really need to be grown out there in Texas.
Is that what it is, Spanish peanuts?
Yeah, Spanish
So
peanuts.
give me a 30-second schooling on the kind of peanut you grow and what it's used for.
Well, this year I've been fortunate with my association with the University of Florida. I've been really in the middle of their development of these varieties, and I'm growing right now for the second year in a row for the university a new release, which is a runner peanut, and it's called a Tough Runner.
That's a Tough Runner.
Tough Runner.
Now, what's a Tough Runner?
Well, that means that's just a name, but anyway, it's a runner peanut. There's
should have called it Emmett Smith or something.
Yeah, well, it could be. Yeah, he was a tough runner. I told you, you don't remember that. I told you my favorite ball player all these years was Emmett, and he still is. Yeah. I said until Tebow, and I said
you're a Tebow man. I know you are.
Yeah, right, but Emmett.
And your forecast was correct.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to
I think I can put you in one of my books, as a matter of fact.
Well, I think so. If you didn't, you should have.
And then I think the other time I put you in there was a time you were at our class reunion, and Miami was playing Florida, and Florida
wrong
Miami
side of history.
Kicked the field goal, and Richard said, "Why is the Gators always on the wrong side of history?" That was,
right.
Richard, it's always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
You keep putting those things in the ground.
Thank you.
And keep feeding us, will you?
It's always a pleasure to come and be here with you, and I like your new place.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Come back anytime, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep going. Richard Barber. We'll take a break, come back. We've got, we got factoids. JJ, we're backed up. We got factoids. We got tweets and quotes. We got news. A lot of stuff going on. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin, Tom Schmitz, and JJ LaSalva on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of events, special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
July is the busiest vacation month of the year, so it's the slowest month in the car business. Our dealership is empty, and it's bumming me out.
This is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Here's my plan to have a no-bummer summer. Trade in your bummer of a clunker today, and I'll give you top dollar for your trade-in.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Get top dollar for your old car today.
Are you bummed out over bad credit? Don't be! Our For the People credit approval process wants to turn your frown upside down and help you get approved for a nicer, newer car. Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Kick your old car to the curb once and for all and get top dollar for your trade-in, regardless of the age, mileage, or condition.
Hurry! This deal ends when we've helped 47 people get a nicer, newer ride.
I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales, online at prestigeforyou.com, or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige!
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking of Rec Talk. Ross graduated with a degree in journalism, an advocate for the underdog, and has written a book called Prodigal. It's a different kind of love story.
Open for debate, where both sides of one issue will be debated.
And it's Thursday. Hank Whitty will be in the studio bringing you veterans news as he does each and every Thursday.
Judith A. Levine is a sociologist. She's written a book called Ain't No Trust: How Bosses, Boyfriends, and Bureaucrats Fail Low-Income Mothers and Why It Matters.
And then Judy Colella will be joining us. She's a musician, a singer. She lived in foster care as a child, and she's written a book called Overcomer: The Journey, book 1 of the MacDara Chronicles. It's a novel for young adults.
Janice Gary is a writing workshop teacher and a contributor to the Baltimore Review, the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the Potomac Review. She's written a book called Short Leash, a memoir of dog walking and deliverance.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided, full-color business cards for $15, or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing, on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
In the world, it's down to me. The way she talks when she's spoken to, down to me. The change has come.
All right, run out of time here. I got to get to our tweets and quotes and our factoids. I'm going to skip over this story about sleep disorders. I want to get that tomorrow. The fact that exercise doesn't necessarily lead you to good sleeping. So, I'll tell you about that. And tomorrow on our show. Meanwhile, we got some amazing factoids. Such a little facts, JJ. 5 amazing factoids of life. These are good. All right. Here's one that you can. You know how you tell when people are lying, JJ?
When Tom opens his mouth.
See, here's the facts. When people are lying to you, you tend to look up and to the left.
Okay.
There you go.
What about to the right? What is that?
I don't know what that means. I'm just telling you when they're lying. Second one. You think your birthday's special? You share it with 9 million other people.
Yeah.
So much of that theory. And then, why is it that we love junk food and fast foods so much? What do you think it is? It's addictive, mildly addictive. And it causes you to want more for several days after consuming it.
Whew.
How about that?
That's how McDonald's gets you.
Yeah, exactly. They get you. You're addicted to those Big Macs. Yeah, it's like crack of food. You got the one on the eyes to the left when you're lying. Okay. Well, you know this when you kiss. When people kiss, approximately 2/3 of them tip their head to the right. Huh? You're thinking about your chick now, right now. Huh? Well,
I'm thinking about what I do.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Check it out. Let's see if it's true. And you talk about why is recycling important? Why is it so important to recycle and all that stuff? Like this lady here, she's going to recycle that bag when she goes home because she recycles. Here's why it's important, folks, to recycle. It isn't just a patriotic thing to recycle, but it also preserves energy. And here's your final factoid. Recycling just one glass jar saves enough energy to watch TV for 3 hours. There's amazing factoids today.
There we go.
Yeah. A story I wanted to get to today, but obviously not going to have too much time. Apparently, Scientology, Church of Scientology, targeted the U2 frontman Bono, tried to get him to join the church, according to the church leader's niece. So, targeting celebrities was one of the things that they've been accused of in the past. So
that's what they do.
I guess. Well, it looks like
you got to have some cash to be a Scientologist.
Nobody's coming after me. I can tell you
neither.
And say no, thank you. You can't qualify. All right, JJ, fire up a little tweets and quotes. Let's get some music going here, and I'll tell you about our interesting sports hour we got coming up. If you're a Gator fan, or if you love Joe Namath or Bear Bryant, you won't want to miss this. It's going to be a really good hour, so be sure you keep this radio right here. It's never too late to be what you might have been. From George Eliot. Quote soup today. One of my favorite little tweets I get. This is so true, and I'm guilty as many of you are out there. Just remember, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And finally, this comes from an unknown author. Anyone who thinks the sky is the limit has limited imagination. I'm getting where I like the factoids as well as I do the tweets and quotes.
Factoids are good.
Just learn so many little things, you know.
Stupid things.
Well, they are, but I mean, like lying and looking up to your left.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, do you tilt your head to the right when you kiss? You had to stop and think about it, didn't you?
I'm still thinking. I don't know what. I think I'm just all over the place.
Yeah, well, yeah, tonight, just check it out and see. Well, I thought the most amazing one was about recycling one glass jar. Enough energy to watch TV for 3 hours. That's a ball game, JJ.
Yes.
Speaking of ball games, how about those Rays? On fire. Tampa Bay Rays winning last night. We'll talk about that coming up. It's time to look at the University of Florida football program and see what's happening. Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun, will be our special guest coming up at 5:15. He'll give us a breakdown. Ronald Powell, some of the other players, what's happening to Matt Jones, get his take on things. Robbie, a very, very knowledgeable guy who covers Gator football up in Gainesville. And finally, Ed Krzeminski wrote a book with a friend on Bear Bryant and Joe Namath called Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Stand. We'll be joined by Ed next hour, so stay tuned to Buddy Sports Page.
It's called Rising Tide.
It's called Rising Tide. That's correct. That's the main title, and that's the subtitle I gave you. Thank you. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll come back for one more hour. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on an Indiana night.
Dry, itchy, scaly skin? Do you have psoriasis? Consider joining our research study. Renstar Medical Research in Ocala is conducting a research study evaluating the effectiveness of investigational combination of two study medications for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. You may qualify if you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis for at least 6 months. For more information, please call Renstar in Ocala at 352-629-5800. Qualified participants may receive study-related medical care and study medication. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. To find out more information about this psoriasis study, please call Renstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angular State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Ocala Radio, WOCA.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The less we say at work, the more we enable others to define our role at the company. That could kill your chances of ever getting a promotion or raise. Even if you never touch a salt shaker, the majority of the sodium in our diet comes from packaged and processed foods. The worst culprit? Bread and rolls. Music engages one of the few parts of the brain that stays active once dementia sets in. And familiar music can help people with dementia feel more at home.
On the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the L signs.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Times of clouds and sun today with a shower or thunderstorm around. It'll be dry along the coast for the afternoon hours. The high 87 to 91. Partly cloudy tonight with a spotty late night shower, low 73 to 77. For tomorrow, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm in the area, high 88 to 92. And on Friday, some sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm, high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about, how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
ABC News Now, I'm Daria Albinger. The cost of, well, just about everything is going up. The only problem, most of us aren't making much more money. The Economic Policy Institute says the median salary has been flat for the past 10 years, and it doesn't expect incomes to rise much anytime soon. Could have been much worse. Police in Decatur, Georgia say the suspect in yesterday's school shooting had nearly 500 rounds of ammunition. Michael Hill got the AK-47 style rifle from an acquaintance. A school bookkeeper talked Hill into surrendering. A brain injury may be more harmful to high school athletes than we had previously thought. Researchers at Boston University say repeated blows to the head, which are common in football, hockey, and other sports, can affect mood, thinking, and behavior. Want to drive the safest vehicle possible? Buy a Tesla S. The sedan got the best government safety ratings ever, 5 stars. That peace of mind, however, is not going to come cheap. They start at almost $60,000. This is ABC News. No matter...
Kid,
People touch some disgusting stuff in this facility. You got to keep these guys clean. In this place, that is a monumental task. This is why we use paper products from Georgia Pacific. Just ordered some from Grainger. A surplus of solutions for the hygienically challenged. Just got our guys new touchless soap and towel dispensers. And plenty of refills. They need it. A lot of it. If you need it, call Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com/Georgia Pacific or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I try to put myself out there, but it seems they're all the same, just telling me what I want to hear.
Don't fret. You can find your car insurance soulmate. It's easy at geico.com. You can pay your bill, manage your policy, and you could even save some major cash. If we could reach through the computer to pull your chair out for you and give you a kiss on the hand, we would. Because you deserve to be in a happy, healthy car insurance relationship. That's what life is all about. For a free rate quote, visit geico.com.
How much time? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the phone house at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
Boom! Microphone's flying. Things happening here. Must be time for sports. It is. Play Sports Page on a Wednesday afternoon, dreary Wednesday afternoon, but lightning stopped now and the rain stopped, so just got a little overcast skies out there. And how about those Tampa Bay Rays? First place in the AL East. You said it couldn't be done. Here they are last night winning over the Orioles 7-4, while the Red Sox are losing and dropping out of first place in the AL East. So big night for Joe Madden's team last night. Got some sticks going, got their hitting going, got a good pitching performance. And if you follow the Rays, they're literally a lot of fun. They've won 2 now from the Orioles, and they got one more tonight, and then they got a big series this weekend with the Yankees. So it's going to be interesting to see in the stretch how good they are, because their pitching is starting to come around. Today on the show, we'll have talk a lot of football. We'll talk with Robbie Andrew, the premier beat writer for the University of Florida football for the Gainesville Sun and Ocala Star-Banner. Robbie, a long-time journalist, knows his stuff, been watching the scrimmage the last couple of days. Robbie will give us the inside scoop on what's going on with Ronald Powell, what's the situation with Matt Jones, how has the defense been shaping up, and what about the offense, and what the quarterback situation is going to be. So stay tuned for that. Robbie will be up in a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, also interesting book I've read about maybe a little over a third of the book, 100 or so pages on a book called Rising Tide. Barrett Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Stand. Quite interesting book, because it seems to be the things that I remember about them pretty much spot on as I remember it, and a lot of praise from writers like Dan Jenkins and Howell Raines, former editor of the New York Times, and people like that who read the book and giving a lot of praise. So we're going to talk to one of the 2 authors, or 2 of them, who will do Randy Roberts and Ed Krasinski, and he'll be our guest at 5:30. So meanwhile, we got headlines and JJ.
Dixie's Last Quarter, by the way, buddy. You got to get the book name correct before he comes on here.
You got it right in front of me here. So.
I know. Okay, anyways, like you said last night, the Rays won 7-4. They're tied for first with the Boston Red Sox. Cobb, who's my new favorite pitcher for Tampa Bay, by the way. Haven't ever seen him before. I really liked his curveball last night.
Has that little drop ball.
A lot of
We called it a drop. And we called it a drop in the old days, that knuckle curve that kind of just
sick.
Falls off a table.
Out of nowhere. They're tied for first. The Braves, who have a 15.5 game lead for first, won today in extra innings 7-4, but we'll see what happens with Jason Hayward, who was hitting hit in the face, hit in the jaw by a pitch today, taken to the hospital for x-rays. He was hit by a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. He's been playing leadoff, so we'll see what the heck he's got going on.
It caught him flush, and I just watched the video of too, and he didn't get turned out of the way or anything. It caught him flush on the jaw at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, so not going to be good probably. In the NFL, Le'Veon Bell, who's the rookie running back that could get a lot of playing time for the Steelers, is out 6 weeks. Another running back is back off the physically unable to perform list, Arian Foster for the Texans, so he should be ready by week 1. That's about it. Slow day in sports.
How about Jonathan Bostic getting fined $21,000 for his hit on Mike Willie, which I understand that they need to police this, and I'm all for it. But, boy, that looked almost textbook. He put a hit on him after catching the pass, and nobody said much about it at the time. In fact, NFL.com was running replays of it and showing it off. And now the NFL comes back and fines the former Gator linebacker $21,000 for his hit. So they're going to have to work on this thing a little bit because they're not sending a clear message to the defenders because they've got to make a play in bang-bang fashion. And sometimes, I think you have to sort of say you can't assume malice. Just sometimes it happens that way. And I'm not saying because he's a Gator football player. It could be anybody. It just looked to me like, I know he used the crown, but on the other hand, he wasn't going for the guy. So I think you got to sort that out.
Have you seen the hit that took out – I'm talking about a different one – that took out the Dolphins player?
No.
Took him out at the knees. He ended up breaking his leg.
Yeah.
He said, listen, I got 3 helmet-to-helmet penalties when I was a senior in college, so I knew I had to change my ways, so I've started going low.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're calling him out for taking a cheap shot at their tight end. I mean, that's what's going to happen. If you don't go for the head, you're going to go for the legs. If you go for the legs, you're going to break somebody's leg and ruin their whole career.
Now, Tom, as a former football player, you got to go high or low, and depending upon the kind of tackle and the kind of player you're tackling, you're more likely to go low on certain guys and high on others, right?
Well, the thing is, it's a judgment call. You got to think of how the person carrying the ball, how their position is to you. Sometimes you hit people high, sometimes you hit them low. But then the NFL is calling defenders for hitting a defenseless receiver or something when the receiver curls up into a ball and lowers his head into the oncoming path of a defender's play. The defensive player now, unless the NFL cleans this up and makes a definitive what's what in these kind of hits, why even have a defense? Just start playing flag football and let the score be 105 to 103 and be done with it.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, a couple quick things before we go take a break and go. Bob Cronin in here yesterday sends a little email today. Says Bob Cronin, who came on the program, longtime listener, says, "Do you realize, buddy, your radio will never be the same?" He said, seriously, I enjoyed being on the radio with you. Thank you. You, and as always, and Tom and the gang could not have been nicer, and that extends to the whole staff. So Bob Cronin saying thank you.
He was good.
Did all right.
He knew what the heck he was talking about.
He writes good emails. He definitely. Hey, here's the problem. You think you could have a problem with your pro team? This is a serious problem.
Can they have worse problems than the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, this is really bad. This is much tougher than Buffalo. The Green Bay Packers have got a serious problem. They've officially run out of streets to be named for famous Packers.
Oh, my God. Like, how many roads in that? I've never even...
Well,
what is Green Bay
Lombardi
like,
Way, Holmgren Avenue. There's all kinds.
It's just a little village, just a nice little town. So,
that's really all they got going on.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, the Packers are it. Yeah.
How close is that to a big city?
It's Milwaukee.
It's an hour north of Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Seems like a long.
It's a pretty state.
Whose idea was it to just throw a team there?
They got it. Well, back in those days,
part of the NFL,
right?
Part of the original.
But so were the Chicago Bears,
Chicago Staleys.
Yeah, they were Staley.
Yeah.
But you got to
big cities.
Yeah, but Wisconsin back then, Milwaukee and that part of Wisconsin, was a big area.
Canton, Ohio, things like that.
Right, Canton had a football team.
Akron and whatever.
A lot of the teams were around the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Because that's where football was played. It was a blue-collar, tough man game.
Yeah, we didn't worry about the size of TV markets back in those days too much.
Obviously.
Let's take a break. We'll go up to Gainesville and talk to Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun. Next, stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source. Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports. From NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
WOCA.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking of Rec Talk Ross, graduated with a degree in journalism, an advocate for the underdog, and has written a book called Prodigal. It's a different kind of love story.
Open for debate, where both sides of one issue will be debated.
And it's Thursday. Hank Whitty will be in the studio bringing you veterans news as he does each and every Thursday.
Judith A. Levine is a sociologist. She's written a book called Ain't No Trust: How Bosses, Boyfriends, and Bureaucrats Fail Low-Income Mothers and Why It Matters.
And then Judy Colella will be joining us. She's a musician, a singer. She lived in foster care as a child, and she's written a book called Overcomer: The Journey, book 1 of the MacDara Chronicles. It's a novel for young adults.
Janice Gary is a writing workshop teacher and a contributor to the Baltimore Review, the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the Potomac Review. She's written a book called Short Leash, a memoir of dog walking and deliverance.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on the Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Good credits, bad credits, it's none of our business, because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com, Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, loss proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Under my thumb, Siamese cat of a girl. Under my thumb, she's the
All right, the countdown's underway. Not that long till the Gators tip it off against Toledo, and coming up here a week from Saturday, and it's getting serious now. Time to make decisions on players, trying to find out who the players are, get the depth chart, and of course you have to stay on this thing daily, and that's what Robbie Andrew does. He's the intrepid reporter for the Gainesville Sun and my hometown paper, the Ocala Star-Banner, as well as other papers in Daytona and Sarasota and whatever. He's global. Robbie Andrew. Hi, Robbie.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Very good, sir. And so it's on for you now, and you've been at this for, 3 weeks now so far?
Yeah, since early August, so it's kind of, but it's gone by pretty quick, buddy, when you don't get to go to practice every day.
Yeah.
Shortens your day a little bit.
It does. Well, I can just think of it this way, Robbie. Fewer days in the sun, hot sun, and roasting out there. It wasn't like great. So think about it that way,
Yeah,
right?
and we get enough of those as it is. So.
Exactly. Well, you have seen them, though, this past couple of days, and you got 3 scrimmages you got to go to? Is that right?
Yeah, 3 practices. Buddy. They really kind of kept us out of scrimmages. So as far as what they're doing in kind of live action, we haven't seen a whole lot. But you can get a feel for the quarterbacks, receivers, DBs, things like that by watching them go 11 on 11. So you get a pretty good idea what's going on.
I don't like to talk about players I haven't seen play, and I try not to. I trust your judgment implicitly, though, and I know you have seen them practicing and guys have been hurt and whatever. I'm just going to go down a list of a couple players to ask about because, and I think they're going to be, in my opinion, obviously key players. Let's talk about Ronald Powell. I noticed your story this morning. He had said all the right things. He says that he feels like he's making progress. You ask him about how he was doing. He said, "I'm here." He seems to be excited about playing the buck linebacker position. He and Dante Fowler, who are going to be really a couple of attack dogs, let's face it, over there. So what do you think of his situation, and will we ever get to see the real Ronald Powell?
I think he's hoping. I think the Florida coaches are hoping. I think everyone would love to get a glimpse of the guy that we saw coming on at the end of spring last year before he got hurt, which was a shame that he worked his way to get back and then he hurt the same knee again. But, so far he's done everything that they've asked him to do. He's rehabbed like a maniac. He walks him out there. He is so fast and quick and such a dominating type athlete that, he looks kind of like Clowney a little bit, his body build and the way he attacks people. But, he says he's pretty much feeling like the same player he was, just some little things missing right now. But, he's really going to play basically stand-up outside linebacker, and Dante Fowler will play the Bucks. So those two guys are going to be on the field most of the time together. And I think, there's a lot of potential there for getting after the quarterback for those two. But, I'd love to see him make it back, and I think he's got a chance now because he got through camp the way he did, and he's ready to play.
Robbie, give me a little bit of a lesson on football. I know you follow it. There's a scheme that calls for if you get your front seven all together and you're getting pressure from the front seven, you don't have to blitz as much. And when you got 2 corners, you can play on an island, which is apparently Florida does. This defense is going to this defense could be really spectacular if all things fall into place. What is the strength of this defense?
Well, buddy, I think if you look at the other day, I was looking out there at the defensive line. You've got Powell and Fowler on the ends coming from the edge. Then you've got Dominique Easley, who is really fully recovered now from that knee surgery he had before last season, which I think it affected his speed a little bit. He's looking quick off the ball again. And then Leon Orr, the nose tackle, who's a 315-pound guy. He's very athletic, too, and moves. So they've got guys that, are big and strong and fast and physical up front. That's a good place to start. And then you mentioned the secondary. The way Marcus May and Cody Riggs have come on at safety, then you add in those cornerbacks, 4 guys that can play. I think it may be the best secondary in the country. It has a chance to be. I think the big concern, buddy, is, they're okay at linebacker in terms of numbers and experience, but not a whole lot of depth there, and you worry about that. Antonio Morris will miss the first game. So I think that the real question mark to me is the depth and lack of experience at linebacker. But if those guys come through and play like, the coaches think and hope they can, I think the defense has a chance to be maybe even better than it was a year ago. And this is a team that won with defense last year. I'm interested. I'm glad you brought up Easley and Orr because you almost forget about those guys. It's like they've been around for 8 years. You do, yeah.
But you got that situation there, and you just said the secondary, obviously, and the weapons you got. Defensively, this team likes to get turnovers. Obviously, that's a big key for Will Muschamp is to get the plus-minus thing a little better on his side, which he did last year. The question is, will this be an attack defense, or will this be a defense that sits back and plays and goes for the pick in deep zone?
But I think they're going to be capable of playing either way they want to in that. I mean, if they want to attack, they've got guys all over the field that can run and make things happen. And, they'll have blitz packages and, when you've got cornerbacks that can cover man-to-man, safeties that can cover man-to-man, which Riggs and May can apparently, you can blitz and they can cover guys and you can get to the quarterback. So, when they need to drop back and put 7 or 8 in coverage with a nickel and dime package, they're going to be, have the players to do that. If they want to attack, I think they're, fast and athletic and can do that too. So I think you'll see a combination of that, which, should keep opposing offenses a little bit off balance.
Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Suns, our special guest. Robbie, you mentioned Antonio Morrison. He's a guy that I think could be that leader. I don't see that one vocal kind of leader, that guy that, who could be the middle linebacker that Florida's had all these years in the championship seasons, unless it could be Antonio Morrison. He has a lot of things going for him once he stops barking at dogs. But the fact is, the question is, can he be that leader, that fire leader that defense needs at middle linebacker?
Yeah, but they don't have the vocal guys they had a year ago, maybe, some of the vocal guys like Elam. But Antonio Morrison is a guy that leads through his play and the way he hits people and, works at the game and gets himself in a position to make plays by hitting the film room. So that's the kind of leader they've got. Usually it's strange as he can seem at times with some of his behavior. He's kind of a quiet leader as well. So you don't have a lot of vocal guys there. Marcus Roberson hadn't really taken on that role, and Purefoy, I don't know if he says much on the field, but they've got a lot of guys that lead through hard work in the film room and in practice, and that kind of is contagious as well.
Well, you mentioned Roberson and you mentioned the other guy, Purefoy, who was really a terrific player. I noticed they're cutting back his reps, keeping him on defense. But I'm thinking about this as we go along, and they got more playmakers on defense than they do on offense.
Yeah, proven playmakers for sure. And God, watching Purefoy the other day, buddy, in practice, I can see why. If you're a defensive coordinator, you don't want him playing a single play on offense. The guy was all over the field. He was suffocating the receivers. He intercepted 2 passes, blocked a punt. The guy is a phenomenal athlete, and we talked to DJ Durkin today, and he said that this kid is really focused in now on trying to do the little things to become, an elite, great player. And he's had a great camp. So if he doesn't play any offense, if he plays only a little bit of offense or none at all, I won't be surprised. He's so valuable on defense for all the plays he makes and on special teams.
The offense. Jeff Driscoll is obvious. We have to assume he's going to play better, no hold the ball as long. He and Brent Peace will be on the same page. The big story, though, is going to be whether they can get Matt Jones well, because I know that they want to run the football, and whether or not whether DeMarcus Robinson can step up and be that guy, because that one guy, it's not going to be Andre DeBose again this year. So they need that guy. Is DeMarcus Robinson that guy?
Buddy, talking to Brent Pease today, he's been that guy in practice. Now, can he, take it to game day and do it on the field in front of 90,000 fans? That's the question. But athletically and physically, this kid is really gifted. He's a big, strong kid that can move, can run, and stretch the field, and has great hands. If there's a jump ball, he's going to usually get it. So he's been the guy on the practice field. Now they're going to see if he can take it to the playing field on game day. And Quentin Dunbar is another guy that's had a really good camp, and I was watching him the other day in a practice in the swamp, and he looks like he's much better running his routes now. He looks more confident, and he's a big guy too. He can get up and get the football. So I think they've got more guys capable of making a play in the passing game than they had a year ago. Last year if Jordan Reed didn't get it done, it didn't get done. So I think they've got more options now. They want to throw to the backs, and like you mentioned, Matt Jones. That's why he's a key player to get back. Which I'm pretty sure he'll probably be back at some point next week, and he'll get him ready for the Miami game. But he's a guy that is not only a 230-pound downhill runner with speed and moves, buddy, but he's also a guy that's got really soft hands. I think he's one of the reasons in the spring that Pease and the offensive guys said we need to get the running backs involved in the passing game. So he's critical in that regard, too.
We're talking with Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun. Robbie Andrew, Tom Schmitz here. I need a question to ask, and it's the most simple question. I need a question to answer the most simple question I think Gator fans have, but it's very important to the outcome of the season.
Yeah.
Is Jeff Driscoll going to be given the reins to win football games, or is he going to be given the reins not to lose football games?
Last year they did the latter there. They kind of held him back a little bit because they had the defense that played so well. Special teams were so good. But I think they realized now in this league, if you're not really balanced, if you don't have the threat of going down the field, the passing game, you're going to end up getting into a lot of dogfights, and you could lose those games. And I think they're going to turn him loose a little bit. And I think you got hints of that throughout the offseason when you talked to Brent Pease. People talked about Driscoll, and he raves about the kid, the talent he has, the arm. And then you watch him in practice now, and he looks like a different quarterback to me, the way he goes through his progressions and looks, finds the secondary receiver, the third guy, and hits him. I think he's gotten a lot better at that. And one of the other keys, too, there is comes the fact that he's better now at reading defenses and getting the offensive line in better protections that are more suited for what he's seeing. And I think protection will be better. They had so many sacks last year. A lot of them were because he couldn't get the offense in the right protection at the line. So I think they're going to turn him loose a little bit, and I think he might surprise a lot of people with some of the numbers he puts up.
Well, Robbie, you're getting awfully optimistic here. I'm thinking about the offensive line being back, Kyle Christie being a great kicker. All of a sudden I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm a little low. Maybe I ought to go for that 10-11 victory season. I don't know, but it sounds pretty optimistic. By the way, one more.
Stuff,
yeah, I know what's okay. Robbie, you're always positive. That's a good thing. Let's talk about Mark Herndon real quick from Forest. Who got an emotional lift. He was told that Will Muschamp told him he was going to get a scholarship, and that came early. That was a pretty emotional thing for Mark Herndon, who people know here around here. Tell us about what Herndon is and how he fits in his team.
He is a great kid, one of the hardest workers you'll ever see out there, and his teammates absolutely love him, buddy, because he does all the right things. He plays so hard, and the fact that Brian White, his position coach, was sitting there hugging him and crying at the same time yesterday, I think, and I heard that the reaction of the players was just rousing applause for the kid. I think he's a great kid. He works hard. He is a longtime Gator fan, and he mentioned that growing up, his parents didn't have a lot of money to go to many games, but he followed forward, and this has been his dream. And for him to get that thing yesterday out of nowhere, it was an emotional thing for everybody, especially for him. And then today you talked to Brent Pease, and he says he's earned every bit of that. And not only did he earn a scholarship, he's earned playing time. He's the number 2 tailback right now, and they have a plan for him to play. He does a lot of things right. He's great in protection. He can catch the ball. He can run. He's just an all-around good back who it's a real bonus for Florida to get a walk-on that's going to really contribute like this kid will. But just a great kid, buddy, from what I've been told. Talking to him yesterday, you could kind of sense that.
Yeah, and of course, he had a great career here, a lot of yardage. He ran up for Forest, made and wouldn't it be something if he had not Matt Jones was that running back, so a tailback. So, Robbie, thank you so much, Robbie, for being on the program. It's always good to get the preseason checkup from you. I feel a little better once I get my Robbie report off, and I kind of know where we stand now, getting ready for that opening game. So looking forward to reading your stuff, and I'll see you in the press box here in a few days.
Thanks, buddy. I always look forward to talking to you.
All right, Robbie Andrew, Gainesville Sun. Coming up next, we'll talk more football. We'll talk about Bear Bryant. We'll talk about Joe Namath, and we'll talk to the guy who actually was a part of this whole thing. He, in fact, was a friend of Joe Namath. Ed Kuzeminski wrote this book along with his partner, and it's called Rising Tide, Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Quarter. Coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source. Having the motivation and making the commitment to quit smoking is a great first step towards becoming smoke-free. However, anyone who's tried to quit smoking knows how challenging it can be. Having the determination to quit may not be enough. You may need some help. If you're ready to quit smoking and are between the ages of 18 and 75, currently smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, and can commit to participating for 24 weeks, you may be interested in a research study which is being conducted to evaluate the use of investigational drugs to see if they can aid individuals in their quest to quit smoking. To help you quit, smoking cessation counseling and all study-related medical care will be provided at no extra cost. You may also be reimbursed for your travel time. To receive more information about this study, how you can participate, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala, 352-629-5800. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little bit of something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
I'm sure you never get tired of being reminded as to how lucky you are to be here in sunny Florida. Everything you could possibly want is right outside your door. Well, now you have a brand new automobile showroom and service center to match your lifestyle. Introducing Village Ford. This state-of-the-art facility has been carefully designed to be the most customer-friendly experience ever in buying or caring for your vehicle. Village Ford, located minutes north of the Villages on Highway 441, has a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Fords, along with many low-mileage, thoroughly inspected used cars and trucks. And for the reliable, fast, on-the-go routine maintenance, Village Ford introduces Quick Lane, a nationwide tire and auto center open 6 days a week, servicing all makes and models with no appointment necessary. We invite you to visit Village Ford and find out for yourself how buying your next car is as pleasant as, well, living where you do.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Welcome back to Buddy Sports Page on a Wednesday. Looking forward to this interview for quite some time. There's a book out called Rising Tide, Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Quarter, written by both Ed Krasinski and Randy Roberts. My pleasure now to talk to one of the co-authors, Ed. Can I call you Eddie K? Is that all right?
You can call me anything you like. That'd be great, buddy.
How are you, Ed?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm about 40% of the way through the book, and I love this period because I've lived it, and actually was and watched Joe play and follow his career, and of course Bear Bryant was in his height at that time, and you and Randy did a fabulous job of gathering information. I mean, I couldn't believe some of it. Like a couple of times, I know there's only certain things that I know that ring true because I was there and saw it and heard it, and I thought, dadgum, this guy's right on here. He's right on. He's got his stuff together. And then as I began to read it, I thought, wait a minute, there's a whole lot more than what I knew here. And then I'm thinking, there's some inside information here. And then I'm reading all about Joe Namath and his pal in high school, and I see the name Ed Krasinski pop up. I'm thinking, is that the same Ed Krasinski?
Well, it's actually Tom Krasinski.
Okay, Tom Krasinski. Okay, all right.
So I'm younger, but yeah, we had some inside information, especially on some of the recruiting trips, and things like that. So it was a fun story to write, that's for sure.
Yeah, you did a lot. For those who don't know the book, it covers so much more than football, and it focuses on sort of the I get you call it the crossroads where Namath and Bryant met and how it all happened after that. And it brings you up to date on a lot of college football history. I'm a college football buff. A lot of college football history, particularly a lot about the South, how Alabama's team was sort of the as you said, sort of the shining example for the South and the first real dynasty, although there was a few other teams in there like Georgia Tech early on, what have you. Sure. But anyway, really well done job. I got a lot of questions to ask you, Ed, and first of all, you've done other work, and I think you worked on this documentary, right? That was on TV also.
I worked on a couple of HBO documentaries, Breaking the Huddle, and also the Namath documentary.
I really liked that Namath documentary, and
it came out well.
When I saw that, I thought, this is this is good stuff, because a lot of times you see these superficial documentaries. Okay, well, but you had some good stuff in there, and you won an Emmy for it, right?
Yes. We also won for Breaking the Huddle, but which was the desegregation story.
Right.
But the Namath one came out well because it's it was a tricky one, because how do you tell this story that most people have seen and watched on television themselves? To dig out some fresh stuff was our job.
Well, you and Mandy Roberts, who's from Purdue, professor of history at Purdue. How'd you guys hook up, by the way, to the TV thing, or how did you get together?
No, Randy and I knew each other. I was a grad student at Purdue, and I'm teaching now at Ball State.
Okay.
So we knew each other pretty well, and had very similar interests, and figured this would be a good working combination.
And you
did a little bit more. I was going to say he did a little more of the Bryant stuff, and I did more of the Namath stuff, but we combined the work pretty well.
Who did all the research on college football?
Well, we both did.
Okay. Well, it's good stuff. And even about the culture and about integration, so many things that factored in. I'll share a few stories with you in a couple of minutes, but I want to ask you about Joe. We're really blessed to see Joe play in college. A chance to see him play 3 or 4 times in Tuscaloosa. I was at the '65 Orange Bowl when he tried to sneak it over. It was unbelievable, and Novus hit him. Whether he was in or not, it was an incredible play. And that game, of course, produced so many pro football players from the AFL and NFL. You know all this stuff. And then to get a chance to see Joe play with the Jets and moving to New York and watching him play. Of course, being at the Super Bowl when he beat the Colts, and then of course living in New York and writing about the Jets. Joe was Joe. I don't know if there's ever going to be another Joe or not.
No. When you have the first, he's the prototype, and everything afterwards is going to seem like a pale imitation. And I think that's one of the things that we tried to deal with here at Alabama was to show where this kid came from and what he went through to get to New York, because it wasn't a straight line.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
The honesty of the book is really what I like about it. You didn't pull any punches. You're talking about Joe and Tom, I guess it is, that went, your uncle, traveled together to Maryland and these schools. And I forget whether it was Maryland or somebody else said, okay, what do you want here? And Joe said, give me a new car and $1,000.
Yep.
And then talk about that.
Well, yeah, they were at Iowa, and one of the boosters, they were asking, what's it going to take to get you here? And they just basically said, no, they didn't. My uncle was scared to death. He was a little more reticent than Joe, but Joe set up the deal. Said, this is what we want. I want a new car. I want $1,000 each. And Iowa was kind of like, okay, that sounds good. And they signed a letter of intent. Or Joe signed a letter of intent to go to Iowa, because at this time you could sign as many as you wanted, 1 per conference. And so he signed that, and it was give and take. I mean, this is what the coaches did. This is what Frank Cush met in the car with Joe one time and said, Joe, how much is it going to cost to get you to come to Arizona State? And Joe just said, no, I want to go to Maryland, and that was how things worked.
And then tell the rest of the story about how you went to Maryland, met a new friend, loved it, wanted to go there, and fell just 2 points shy of on the SATs.
Yeah, he was, the biggest thing coming from Beaver Falls, if you're familiar with Western Pennsylvania and the industrial area, is to find a campus that was green and everything. So when he went to Maryland, he just fell in love with the place. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily any greener than any other of the major universities, but he really just loved the place, and he had a good friend there, Al Hassan, who was from nearby Newcastle in Pennsylvania. And they just went down and they loved it, and all he had to do was pass the SAT. So Al, who was known as Hatchet, went to Beaver Falls over the summer before he was set to enroll in college, and was going to help him all summer study for the SATs. That's all they had to do. Well, every night they got a little bit restless, study a little bit, go out a little bit, study a little bit, and by the end of the summer, when he took the SATs, he fell short, and he wasn't going to be able to get in. The ACC had the new minimum requirements, as did the Big Ten and Notre Dame, and he was left without a college. And Tom Nugent, the coach at Maryland, called his buddy Bear Bryant and said, "Look, this kid is great. You need to take a look at him, and I'd rather you have him than anybody else that I might potentially have to play, so come and get him." And that's how it happened. Bryant sent up Howard Schnellenberger to pick him up, and figured it was Schnellenberger, who had played football with Joe's brother Frank at Kentucky, figured this was going to be go up, pick him up, come back, and that'll be that. Well, Schnellenberger gets up there, and he ends up days of negotiations trying to convince Namath to come to Alabama. And, of course, Schnellenberger only had one suit of clothes and no money, and passing bad checks all the way back through the South. And eventually he gets him back onto campus.
That's a good story. And then the $64,000 question. I haven't gotten this part of the book, but did he get money at Alabama?
You know what? I mean, he got boosters came over. There was a whole series of ways to get money at Alabama. Booster. The biggest thing, the biggest moment, and we write about this in the book, is after the Iron Bowl, when they play Auburn, whoever won that game pretty much owned the city of Birmingham for the night. And at the bars, all the boosters would come up and palm money to the players and things like that. They also had the regular thing that I very common, and I think all of the schools, is selling the gratis tickets. And somebody would set that up, and they'd get a few $100 for selling those. I mean, I think it was kind of a,
it was universal. They all did it back in those days in terms of tickets. That was always a source of income back in the 60s for players. And certainly that's, the Alabama wasn't a category by himself in that regard. I want to make sure we get this in. And by the way, our guest is Ed Kosminski. He co-authored a book with Randy Roberts. It's one I'd recommend to you. I'm about a little over a third through it right now. It's called Rising Tide, Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, and Dixie's Last Quarter. You're going to enjoy if you like college football. A couple of things on Bear Bryant. Excuse me. I love the stories. I thought I knew a lot about Bryant, about how players quit. And, of course, his whole point was to run guys off. We all know the Junction Boys story and what have you. But my favorite stories were the one guy who quit, and he exited practice uniquely, like a streaker. He decided he was going to leave. He took off and ran.
He just decided he had enough and was running across the field, stripping his uniform off as he was going, climbing the fence, getting out of there, and it was the greatest exit ever from a Bryant practice session. And many people thought of doing it, but it was like escaping from a prisoner of war camp, I think, is how some of the people described it.
I can understand that. And, of course, by the time he got to the front of the building to go in, he had nothing but a jockstrap on. Yeah. Everything else was gone. And then the other story I loved was this legendary stories about how tough Bryant was, about the guy he was on the field, and he was feeling bad. And he says, "I think I'm having a heart attack." And Bryant's assistant says, "You got to play through those heart attacks."
Yeah, he said, "You got to suck those heart attacks up." And,
suck them hard, yeah. And then
later goes and joins the Army, and they find out that he actually had a heart attack.
He did suck up that heart attack after all. Huh?
Did pretty well.
Well, really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. And I don't know, Bryant's such an imposing figure. He'll always be, to me, the ultimate football coach. I think he with everything he did, obviously, and I love the background of Morrow Bottom and how he got from Arkansas and why he was the way he was. So you got a lot of work in there about why people are the way. And by one other thing, Darwin Holt and the Chick Granning story. I love that story because I lived a little bit of that. And I actually interviewed Darwin Holt 5-6 years ago, and to this day he claims it wasn't a foul, and he points out, as you in the book, he didn't get a penalty on the play.
Yeah, exactly. And, it was one of those things where Furman Bisher especially had a thing for Bear Bryant, wanted to try and knock him down, and came after him several times. I mean, most importantly, he was not the primary author of the Saturday Evening Post accusations that Bryant rigged a college football game,
right?
But he was part of it.
Wally Butts.
And with Wally Butts, and that's career ending. That's not just even a recruitment violation or something like that. Accusing a coach of rigging a college football game that's the end of his career. And Bryant, of course, that was a shining moment for him. But it's amazing he was able to coach through with all that pressure going on around him.
Absolutely. The book's called Rising Tide, Bear Bryant and Joe Namath and Dixie's Last Quarter with Randy Roberts and Ed Krasinski, who's been our guest for the last 20 minutes. All the best with the book, and I hope to get you on the show again. Very interesting interview.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'd love
Ed.
to be back.
Good. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Okay, we're going to go take a little break here, come back and tidy up. You got some more news over there? Did you say something happened? Something breaking a while ago? Were you guys sleeping? I forget which. We'll find out next on Buddy Sports Page. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on.
July is the busiest vacation month of the year, so it's the slowest month in the car business. Our dealership is empty, and it's bumming me out.
This is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Here's my plan to have a no-bummer summer. Trade in your bummer of a clunker today, and I'll give you top dollar for your trade-in.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Get top dollar for your old car today.
Are you bummed out over bad credit? Don't be! Our For the People credit approval process wants to turn your frown upside down and help you get approved for a nicer, newer car.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Kick your old car to the curb once and for all and get top dollar for your trade-in, regardless of the age, mileage, or condition.
Hurry! This deal ends when we've helped 47 people get a nicer, newer ride.
I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales, online at prestigeforyou.com,
or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige!
WOCA. Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page. Real quick update on this biogenesis story that never seems to go away. A little known fact about it was that ESPN's Outside the Line had reported Tuesday that Miguel Tejada, who has been suspended for 105 games for a positive test on methamphetamines, was implicated in biogenesis. It said that baseball had the choice of going after Tejada for his involvement with biogenesis or because of amphetamine use, and baseball chose the amphetamine
Yeah, not
use.
methamphetamines, by the way. Yes.
Amphetamine use.
You said methamphetamine. Let's not get Miguel Tejada mixed up into being a meth head.
I thought I said just amphetamines. All right, amphetamines. But Miguel Tejada, baseball said Wednesday it found no violation of its drug program by Kansas City infielder Miguel Tejada where biogenesis is concerned. So ESPN errantly said biogenesis and Miguel Tejada were tied together, and Major League Baseball says that is, in fact, a falsehood.
Okay, well, sometimes those things do happen. Fact remains is he was taking bad stuff.
He was taking Adderall after his exemption for taking it had expired. He actually was able to take it, but that ran out in May, and he kept taking it without getting a new exemption, and so Major League Baseball suspended him.
My experience on that is there's a lot more of those stories usual. That's just one of the
My
things.
favorite part about this story is Miguel Tejada is still in the Major League Baseball. Did you know that?
He's still what?
Still playing Major League Baseball.
Oh, he's still playing?
I get that's he plays for the Royals, obviously.
So he's still playing
I thought he hung him up a long time ago.
Oh, well, no, I know he was playing.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Speaking of baseball, JJ, Rays go after another one trying to sweep the series.
Jeremy Hellickson pitches against Bruce Chin tonight, buddy, who is... I don't know if you know who that is.
Bruce Chin still in the league?
Oh, no, this isn't Bruce Chin. This is Y.N. Chin. But Bruce Chin still does pitch for the Kansas City Royals. Been in the league forever. Hellickson's 10-6, buddy. One of the best pitchers on the staff.
Yeah.
Chin 6.
They got some good arms on the staff now.
Yes.
You know what? They got the heat out of the bullpen. Those guys, they got flamethrowers out of the bullpen. They got guys throwing 97,
And they
98.
don't pay a lot of their guys.
I'll tell you what.
And the Red Sox are playing right now. It's the 7th inning. They're winning 8-1, so they should take a half-game lead before tonight's over.
No. So Rays are getting kind of interesting. And like I said, big series for this weekend. I'm excited about football coming, though. I will say that.
Who isn't, man?
So,
look, stop it. Baseball season is king.
But you haven't even been watching baseball, Tom.
You know what? Baseball has gotten so... the Braves are winning, and I'm glad. And other than that, bring on football.
Well, because
there's interesting stuff out there.
But the Braves are not on TV every night like they used to be.
Let me tell you what...
And the Rays are.
Let me tell you what I'm a big fan of. English Premier League soccer.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
I just picked up... No, I'm pulling for Liverpool.
Yeah, that's his new club.
That's my club, Liverpool.
Oh, my gosh. Tom
NBC Sports,
soccer fan.
The Reds.
Soccer? Who's watching soccer? I'm watching football.
Yeah, boy. That's
football.
Liverpool Football Club.
Exactly.
Instantly overnight expert.
My guy JJ there coaching
him up.
Yeah, you guys will be texting love notes back and forth.
He doesn't wake up early enough for that.
No, I watch the tape delay. I'm not watching the games live.
Well, I'll be watching the Rays tonight, see if they can sweep. So, all right. I want to thank our guest today, Mayor Kent Gwen. Kent Gwen was very good today, by the way. I enjoyed his conversation.
He brought me a cookie. I appreciate that.
That's all it takes for you. Bring him a
That's what I'm
cookie
saying.
and he'll follow you
Bring me
home.
a cookie. I'm